special films that plunge you into a world of total terror, unleashing emotions so intense, so awesome, there is no defense. Prepare yourself. From deep space, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, rated PG. Starts this week at a theater near you.
Hi, I'm Todd Bridges. You see me as a poor kid who was adopted by a rich family. But most kids aren't that lucky. The Marine Corps Reserve is busy collecting toys for the less fortunate children. Please help me and the Light Pop Dragon fill the Toys for Tots barrels. Just bring a new toy and the Marines in your community will help Santa put it in the right stocking on Christmas morning. Merry Christmas.
It's coming 1 week from tonight. This is nuts. The ultimate adventure.
Go away!
Richard Dreyfuss, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, starting in 8/7 Central and Mountain. And in 2 weeks, Bond returns in the biggest space adventure ever. Roger Moore as Agent 007 in Moonraker. Blockbuster hits on the ABC Sunday night movie in November.
Tonight's movie, Grease, will continue in a moment.
Wednesday, Lee Majors is Hollywood's hottest stuntman, the Fall Guy.
This is an ABC color presentation.
Hey, what time is it? It's Podblast time! That's right. It is Podblast time. How are you doing? Hope you're having a really good day. This is your weird, informative, and hopefully fun time capsule of memories of days gone by as we forge ahead together in the game of life. Remember the Milton Bradley board game Life? Well, I was more of a Scrabble man myself, but right now we're reminiscing about life, specifically pop culture history and life experiences that we all have in common. Sharing is caring, and that's what the Nostalgic Podblast is all about. This is the Nostalgia Show with a bite. Welcome. I'm Chance Bartels, your host. No relation to Chance the Rapper. Now, as Steve Harvey says at the beginning of Family Feud, as I say at the beginning of every Podblast, and I mean it, we got a good one for you today! Now, last week was the 5th anniversary show, and I think I really dropped the ball. I did it on a special day, Saturday, because I started the show back on June 15th, 2019, just as an audio-only show. No video, no bells and whistles at Al Hardy's home studio. And I've really failed to talk about some of the highlights of the show, some big interviews that I pulled off, or not pulled off, that I brought to you. Like Heather Thomas from The Fall Guy, Doug Barr from The Fall Guy played Howie Munson. Heather played Jodie Banks. She was in Zapped, of course. She was one of the best 1980s sex pots of 80s TV. Just a beautiful blonde. And then also Kenneth Johnson, the creator of television's Incredible Hulk, creator of the Bionic Woman spinoff of the $6 Million Man, which is based on the Martin Caidin novel Cyborg. He was a total treat. And he was talking about his new book, Holmes Coming, a time travel story about tracking down Jack the Ripper. It sounds similar to Time After Time, a movie directed by Nicholas Meyer, who later directed Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in 1982, released in 82, shot in 81. The Wrath of Khan was, and Time After Time was a 1979 release. And I really, really liked it a lot. Mary Steenburgen was in it, and Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange, and they met and they eventually got married and divorced, but they were a couple in that movie, a fictional couple, and then that translated to real life for those two for a time. Spoke with him on the Late Late Show with Tom Snyder on September 20th, 1996. I'll play that clip, not tonight. I'll play video of it. I played audio of it before. I made Tom Kennedy crack up. Basically, I asked Malcolm McDowell what it felt like to kill off Captain James T. Kirk in Star Trek Generations, and they both kind of got a kick out of my question at my expense. But I have video of that on a videotape. I think the videotape is right here. I've converted it digitally, but anyway, we must move along with our show. We have a lot to cover. For our wonderful game show people out there, in this edition, we'll finally resume our ongoing conversation about great deceased hosts of game shows, MCs, as they were called and still are called to this day. And this time we're going to remember Tom Kennedy. He hosted a lot of memorable game shows like Name That Tune, Password Plus, after Alan Ludden sadly passed away in 81 of stomach cancer. He also hosted a short-lived show on CBS, very interesting game show that's been running on Buzzer in recent years. He hosted Body Language, and he hosted The Price is Right. You heard me right. He hosted from 85 to 86 on CBS, a syndicated nighttime Price is Right show. And it was only a half-hour program. It was not 1 hour, like the classic Bob Barker and the current version of The Price is Right. Now, later tonight, we're also going to have a Moonraker movie mystery, which will be solved tonight. But first, of course, you've heard about it. It's no longer breaking news, but we must talk about this. We'll get to it in a minute. The fact that actor Donald Sutherland has died. And we'll talk about his life. By the way, if you want to be part of the conversation, what were your favorite Donald Sutherland movies or performances? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to start putting your comments on the screen. Got a lot of clips, a lot of Tom Kennedy game show clips, interviews, a funny interview with Donald Sutherland from Beyond the Grave, as it were, talking about his iconic role in Animal House. I don't want to give it away, but if you want to call in old school to talk about nostalgia or Tom Kennedy or Donald Sutherland, the phone number, I'm sure Sarah is in chat and put it in the comments. I'll put it on the screen. But listeners, it is 770-438-1050. That's 770-438-1050. Or simply leave a comment in the live chat area as we're live with your thoughts. And I'll show your thoughts and opinions on the screen for people that are watching. And if you're listening to this program on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, TuneIn, or at Fistful of Radio at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Saturday or Sunday. Those are my time slots, or Monday overnight or Wednesday overnight into Thursday morning. And you want to see the clips, just head to your computer and do a simple Google search. And once you get to Google search The Nostalgic Podblast. It's not nostalgia, it's nostalgic with a C. The Nostalgic Podblast. And when you Google search, you'll see the YouTube channel. Click that, And you'll see a thumbnail image that Sarah put together for me, Southern California, My Flock is Everywhere YouTube channel. She did a nice thumbnail image of Donald Sutherland. So go to the live area of the YouTube channel, click live. There's a tab, live. You'll see videos and live, and then you'll see the Donald Sutherland. I'll try to post it in the regular video section a couple days after it's been in the live universe on YouTube for a while. And also the videos on Facebook Live. I'll be looking at those comments as well, folks that are watching on Facebook Live in the Facebook group, The Nostalgic Podblast. And I forgot to share it in there. I got to do that. StreamYard is at odds with Facebook a little bit. Facebook on June 10th, 2024 implemented some new rules where you can't go live in certain groups, but you can still share it, and it's very frustrating. But that's my problem. That's not your problem. Quick disclaimer, in terms of the video and audio clips that I'll present to you tonight, I do not represent the owners of this material or any of its entities. This is a live educational interactive lecture for fellow nostalgia fans in which I earn no proceeds from these video images. And I do not own these movie clips or musical cues. No rights are or were given or are or were implied. I encourage all to purchase official releases of this material where it's applicable, as I have done. Now, all these clips were found on other non-official YouTube channels. So I'm hoping that on the YouTube side, the stream is not interrupted. We shall see. But getting back to Donald Sutherland, oh, wow. He had such an incredible career. He was a Canadian-born actor. Donald Sutherland was born as Donald McNichol Sutherland, like Christy McNichol. I should do a little Podblast feature or just a short video on Christy McNichol, but I digress. He was born on July 17th, 1935, and that was a Wednesday, incidentally. And let me just see. I'm trying to see. Yeah, he was born in Brandon's neck of the woods. I know Canada is a huge country. Maybe he's not near his Providence where he was born, but Donald McNichol Sutherland was born on Wednesday, July 17th, 1935, at the St. John General Hospital, like the soap opera, in St. John, New Brunswick. He was the son of Dorothy Isobel, and his mom passed in 1956, incidentally, and Frederick McLee Sutherland. His dad, Frederick McLee Sutherland, lived from 1894 until 1983. And his dad worked in sales and ran the local gas, electricity, and the bus company. Kind of like makes me think of Ralph Cramden, fictional Ralph Cramden driving that bus around New York. He was of Scottish, German, and English ancestry. As a child, Donald Sutherland had hepatitis and a severe fever. And in a letter Sutherland sent to a St. John Free Public Library representative in 2017, he detailed how he and his family had lived in a farmhouse in Lakeside, a rural community in Kings County near Hampton, before moving to Bridgewater, Nova Scotia at the age of 12, where he spent his teenage years. Donald Sutherland obtained his first part-time job at the age of 14 as a news correspondent for local radio station CKBW in Canada. Donald Sutherland graduated from Bridgewater High School. He then studied at Victoria University, an affiliated college of the University of Toronto, where he met his first wife, Lois May Hardwick, and he graduated with a double major in engineering and drama. He at one point had been a member of the UC Follies comedy troupe in Toronto, Canada. He changed his mind about becoming an engineer and left Canada for Britain in 1957, studying at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. While at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, LAMDA for short, Sutherland began appearing in West End productions. Donald Sutherland acted at the Perth Repertory Theatre in Scotland in 1960. In the early to mid 1960s, Donald Sutherland began to gain small roles in British films and television, such as a hotel receptionist in the Sentimental Agent episode titled A Very Desirable Plot from 1963. He was featured alongside Christopher Lee. Do you know who Christopher Lee is? He played Scaramanga in the second Roger Moore James Bond film, The Man with the Golden Gun. He had 3 nipples, his character, if you may recall. And of course, he was a Hammer horror Dracula. And in later years, he was Darth Dooku in Star Wars Episode 2. Excuse me. Attack of the Clones. And he was beheaded, his character, in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He also, of course, is in Lord of the Rings movies, and he was in a Space 1999 episode looking like a glam rocker in a long hair white wig. He was a benevolent alien in the 5th produced episode, Earthbound, which did away with Commissioner Simmons, who was Commander Koenig's superior on Earth, and he was a real a-hole, his character, played by Roy Doctris. So let's see here. Oh, getting back to Donald Sutherland's acting, his early acting roles. This is kind of cool. So he worked alongside Christopher Lee in horror films such as Castle of the Living Dead, released in 1964, and the anthology film Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, released in 1965. Donald Sutherland also had a supporting role in the Hammer Films production Die, Die, My Darling, released in 1965, with Tallulah Bankhead, who was in the original Batman series, Adam West Batman. And he also, along with Mrs. Bankhead, he acted with Stephanie Powers long before she was the girl from U.N.C.L.E. and certainly years before she was in Heart to Heart. And she was in The $6 Million Man and The Secret of Bigfoot and The Return of Bigfoot Parts 1 and 2. But I digress. That was in 1976. In 75, she was in Secret of Bigfoot, Season 3 of $6 Million Man. Stephanie Powers was. Getting back to Donald Sutherland, in the same year, 1965, he appeared in the Cold War classic titled The Bedford Incident, and in the TV series Gideon's Way, in the 1966 aired episode titled The Millionaire's Daughter. Also in 1966, Donald Sutherland appeared in the BBC TV play Lee Oswald, Assassin, playing a friend of Lee Harvey Oswald. Charles Givens, even though Givens himself was African American. Okay, I'm reading from my little script here, and that does not make sense to me. Let me reread that. In 1966, Donald Sutherland appeared in the BBC play Lee Oswald, Assassin, playing a friend of Lee Harvey Oswald. I got it. Charles Givens. He played a guy who was black in real life. Got it. Even though the real Givens was African American. Now it makes sense. It's kind of a poorly written sentence there. So Donald Sutherland, I just did a lisp like Donald had. I thought it was interesting to have Donald Sutherland endorsed Simply Orange, because in the ads, there's a lot of S's, even when you say the brand name. And comedian Jim Gossett did a bit on this and made this observation as well. He would do an impression of Simply Orange. It's just Simply Orange. Simply Orange. I'm not disrespecting the man. I was a big fan of his acting. Don't misunderstand. We're just having a little levity here. He did have a lisp. Donald Sutherland, he did. He just did. That's a fact. I'm not knocking the man. I'm not kicking him while he's blue. Believe me. Donald Sutherland also appeared in the TV series The Saint, which starred Roger Moore, future James Bond, in the 1965 episode titled The Happy Suicide. The Happy Suicide. Got to get serious here. In 1967, Donald Sutherland appeared in an episode of The Avengers, which starred Patrick McNay and Honor Blackman originally, before she was Pussy Galore and Goldfinger, and she was replaced, of course, by the lovely Emma Peel, played by the only actress who played a wife of James Bond temporarily in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Oh, God, I know her name. You know my name, look up the number. Hang on. God, I know her name. Suppose I were to shoot you for a thrill. One of her lines. Damn, hang on a second. I hate it when I do this. Someone in chat is probably, I can't see chat. Someone's probably screaming at me. The event, and it's going to take me to Avengers Marvel. That'll be the first thing when I do this. Start checking the Avengers TV show. Emma Peel, played by Diana Rigg. It hit my head before I saw it on the screen. I don't see it. Diana Rigg was the second lovely in that show, The Avengers, which starred Patrick McNay, who later was the narrator on Battlestar Galactica, among many other roles. He had a great voice, and he was a guest star. He played like an alien that was like Satan in a 2-hour episode. Was it Greetings from Earth? No, Experiment in Terra. I digress. I'll figure it out later. He was in a Battlestar Galactica. I've got to look it up now. But it was a 2-parter. Hang on, golly. And it had these cool aliens. They were ripping off Close Encounters of the Third Kind in this Battlestar Galactica episode. Let me look it up. Patrick McNay, Galactica. What was that episode he was in? There are those who believe that life here began out there, far across the universe. He voiced the Imperious leader, as well as was the narrator. War of the Gods, that was the episode. He played Count Iblis, and they introduced a sport that was on the Galactica. The Galacticans played, at least the men played. It looked like basketball, but there was just there was a ball, and you put it in a little hole instead of a basket. It was like basketball. Triad game. I think that's what it was called. Someone correct me. When I go off the cuff, I make a lot of mistakes, and this is an educational program, hopefully a fun educational program, not a boring lecture. And I want to have my facts correct. And I hate it when I make mistakes, but I'm only human, born to make mistakes. Remember that song? Okay. But getting back to, the somber passing of the great actor, Donald Sutherland. So he acted with Stephanie Powers, appeared in the Bedford Incident and in Gideon's Way in the 1966 episode, The Millionaire's Daughter. I talked about all of that. I lost my place. Okay, The Avengers. That's where I left off. In 1967, he appeared in the Avengers episode, The Superlative 7. In 1966, he also made a second and more substantial appearance in The Saint in season 5, episode 14. That episode was titled Escape Route or Route. You say route, I say route. Escape Route. Let's just say both. Escape Route, Escape Route, which was directed by the show's star, Roger Moore. I didn't know that Roger Moore did much directing. That's interesting. See, I learn along with you in the audience. Who later recalled... Let's see, Roger Moore later recalled that Donald Sutherland, quote, asked me if he could show it to some producers, and he was up for an important role. And they came, that's a terrible impression of Roger Moore. They came to view a rough cut and got The Dirty Dozen, the film, which starred Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, and several other popular actors, was the 5th highest grossing film of 1967, and MGM's highest grossing film of that year, 1967. In 1968, after the breakthrough in the UK filmed Dirty Dozen, Sutherland left London for Hollywood, California. Donald Sutherland and Jane Fonda. Okay. They appeared in 1971 together at FTA show. But Donald Sutherland, appeared in 2 war films, playing the lead role as Hawkeye Pierce, and of course, Robert Altman's MASH in 1970, and again in 1970 as a hippie tank commander, Oddball in Kelly's Heroes. That was Wade Hackett, a buddy of mine from high school. When I posted in the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group about the passing, when I shared that information, when it was still pretty breaking news, it was like an hour after the news broke that he passed away. That was the only comment Wade Hackett made. Oddball, memorable role. I love Kelly's Heroes. Now, Donald Sutherland's health was threatened by spinal meningitis contracted during the filming of Kelly's Heroes. Can you believe that? And Donald Sutherland starred with Gene Wilder in the 1970 comedy film Start the Revolution Without Me. During the filming of the Academy Award-winning detective thriller Klute with a K, Klute in 1971, Donald Sutherland had an intimate relationship with his co-star Jane Fonda. Al Hardy's a big fan of Jane Fonda. He met her at Turner, and she signed some items for him. He's always praising her. I know a lot of people don't like her for the Vietnam era antics. I understand that, but we don't want to go there right now. But he always defends Jane, said she was really nice. She was nice to me. All right, so Donald Sutherland had an intimate relationship with Jane Fonda. Sutherland and Fonda went on to co-produce and star together in the anti-Vietnam War documentary FTA, released in 1972. Big surprise. Consisting of a series of sketches performed outside Army bases in the Pacific Rim and interviews with U.S. troops who were then on active service. As a follow-up to their appearance in Klute, Sutherland and Jane Fonda performed together in Steelyard Blues in 1973. A, quote, freewheeling age of Aquarius, romp and roll caper, unquote, from the writer David S. Ward. Donald Sutherland found himself as a leading man throughout the 1970s. We'll talk about some of these films in a moment and show some clips. In films such as the Venice-based psychological horror film Don't Look Now, released in 1973, which co-starred Julie Christie, a role which saw him nominated for the BAFTA Award for Best Actor. He also was in the war film The Eagle Has Landed, released in 1976 as a leading man, and the thriller Eye of the Needle, which was filmed on location at the Isle of Mull, West Scotland. And he was the health inspector in the science fiction horror film Invasion of the Body Snatchers, one of my favorites, released in 1978 as a remake of the 1950s original. And I love the cameo by Kevin McCarthy. They're coming! They're coming! It was like trying to warn them. And it was set in San Francisco in the 1978 version. And you also had his co-star was Brooke Adams and a young Jeff Goldblum, along with Leonard Nimoy, who played a psychiatrist, or was it a psychologist? It was a shrink. I think it was a psychiatrist. So he could prescribe drugs, his character. I'm going to play some clips. I played at the very beginning of the show, a really creepy, like TV 30-second spot for Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978, letting the public know that it starts soon in movie theaters. And it was just well edited. Never seen that before when I was researching this edition of your nostalgic Podblast. Let's see. So Donald Sutherland helped launch the internationally popular Canadian television series called Witness to Yesterday, with a performance as the Montreal doctor Norman Bethune, a physician and humanitarian, largely talking of Bethune's experiences in revolutionary China. Sutherland also had a role as a pot-smoking professor named Dave Jennings in National Lampoon's Animal House in 1978. By the way, his character was Stupin, a student, played by Karen Allen, one of her first big roles a few years before Indiana Jones was filmed. National Lampoon's Animal House, released in 78, was filmed in 77, and Reg Lost Ark was filmed in 1980, of course, released in 1981. And that really put her on the map. And then she did Starman with Jeff Bridges. I like that movie. And some other notable roles. And she also was in the pilot to Knots Landing, which debuted on CBS at the same time as season 3 of Dallas. And she played Sid's troubled and alcoholic older daughter from a previous marriage. And then she went to shoot Indiana Jones. So she never appeared in any other episodes except for episode 1 of Knots Landing, which was released on DVD. Only seasons 1 and 2 of Knots Landing were ever released on DVD. So I'm going to play a clip of, I should play it now, a clip of Donald Sutherland talking about his role in Animal House. Let's do that. And then I can share out, do some things behind the scenes I need to do on the Facebook side. And hopefully this will be an okay clip to play. Let's just listen to Donald Sutherland talking about that role. It's a 5-minute clip. Let's just quickly, I'll say a little well wish and a prayer. I don't know if you're religious or not, that the stream doesn't go down. Please, this is a very interesting little clip from Donald Sutherland. Rest in peace.
Another film that you were in, an incredibly successful film, you had a small role, Animal House.
Yes.
How did they convince you to be in that film? Because it was a small role, and were you surprised at how big a success that was?
I did a movie called Kelly's Heroes, and the gopher on that movie was a young fellow named John Landis. MASH came out when I was over in Yugoslavia, and it became a big success while I was out of the country. And he said, and I said to him, you're going to be a director every movie you make until you become successful. I'll be in it. And I'll do it for, whatever. So I was in Kentucky Fried Movie. I was in something else. I was a waiter in Kentucky Fried Movie. He phoned me up. I said, I need you for a day in Animal House. I said, fine. I was doing Invasion of the Body Snatchers, so I just had to come over for a weekend. And he said, they want to give you 2% of the profits. I said, no way. This is a Universal picture. Universal has to pay me my daily rate. So they paid me my daily rate. I got 2 days daily rate instead of 2% of the profits, which would have been $2-3 million. Really bright. And worse than that, as a stupid joke for him, just for John. It's a stupid joke for him. I took my underwear off and lifted my shirts only as a joke for the set. My wife could kill me. You have my ass all over the world. And he used it, and I'm, it was just as a joke for the Rushes,
Now, I'm not sure about this, but a few years ago I was watching a rerun of The Avengers, and I thought I saw you pop up in that.
Yeah, I did 3 of them, I think.
Okay. Now, how big a deal was that for you at that point in your career to be doing a TV series in England? Was that just like another job, or was that like a real big deal for you?
I never ever had another job. Every single one of them has been a big deal for me. If I had another job, I'd quit. They've all been in some way beautiful, and I tried somehow to perfect a little something in them, and I'm dependent upon the director. But I've worked with some terrific people. The television things where I had not made a film, and it was a wonderful opportunity. I thought it was a wonderful opportunity. I was learning a little bit about my craft. They were casting me as artistic homicidal maniacs, but it changed.
Now, when you think of unique films that you've worked on, I was thinking of Casanova, because when that movie was being filmed, I remember reading something about how some of the film had been stolen and held for ransom. What was the story with that?
That was, I guess it was some employees of Technicolor, actually. I think that was what it was. I don't know. I don't want to harass any employees, but I think that was what it was. Somebody was fired and they didn't like it, and they took some films of Pasolini, of Bertolucci, Sergio Leone, and Federico Fellini, and they confiscated these films and held them for ransom. I do not know whether a ransom was ever paid.
You mentioned MASH a little while ago. I was just curious, when they decided to make that into a TV series, did they ever approach you about being in the TV series at all?
I can't remember. They might well have. Maybe they did. I wanted to make films, and that's what I was doing. So if they had, I would have turned them down. My memory is such that I cannot remember.
Well, turning to disclosure and talk about clothes, you look incredibly dapper in this film.
Oh, that's Gloria Gresham. Yeah. She's a wonderful costume designer, really wonderful. Yeah.
So how were the costume fittings for this film different than other movies you've done?
They were a little bit like the costume fittings for for Fred Skepsi's 6 Degrees of Separation. He was just a well-dressed guy, and the clothes looked good, So good, I'm trying to buy them from Warner Brothers. But it was nice to wear those clothes. They're Giorgio Armani clothes. and the movement of the material and the way they sit, they feel great. They feel great. He's a wonderful, wonderful designer.
That was a very interesting interview. And you heard him mentioning Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and man, who could forget this moment at the end of that movie? Thank goodness he trimmed his nose hairs that day. Man, I used to love. Scary stuff. And I guess I'm going to play a little bit of the ABC premiere, the Sunday night movie of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Let's watch.
ABC. Sunday. Movie. The ABC Sunday Night Movie. Tonight, the movie that took America by fright.
Matthew! Matthew!
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
People are being duplicated.
From deep space, the seed was planted and terror grows. Starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, and Leonard Nimoy. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
How about that? That's kind of cool. And I remember watching that and freaked me out. A 10 years growth that movie did. Sure did. And you saw that one preview. I thought I had something else. I don't mean to go on, and that's just one of my favorite movies he did. And it was so freaky. Like when they get you when you sleep, these pod people. And he falls asleep in a scene, and someone notices in the garden a duplicate of him is growing, and someone takes a garden hoe, and smashes his face in, and blood goes everywhere, and it's disgusting. And there was nudity in that movie. It was rated PG, and Brooke Adams was nude in it as a pod person emerging. And hang on, I got the back in the background's the DVD, Blu-ray rather. It's a very underrated movie. I know my buddy Jeff Logan, who'll be on with me Sunday, along with Danny Staten, doing a comic book unboxing Sunday at 3 Eastern this Sunday. He saw it recently for the first time within the last year or so, Jeff Logan, and he really liked it. It's a good look at that art. I don't know why his eyes like that. And there's a creepy scene where this guy morphed, like something went wrong with the pod, and he became merged with his dog. And you see like this dog with a human head come around the corner, and a really interesting little scene. Let me show you the back of the Blu-ray. It's got the little slip cover. Look, never even opened it. What the heck? Something flew out of there. I have it on my DVR like an HD on Xfinity. Oh, thinking DVD. It's just a packing slip. Sealed. You can't take it with you. I need to, I plan on making it to 100. But sometimes plans don't go the way we want them to, and accidents happen. Lord forbid. But I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do with all my stuff, because you can't take it with you. I need to finalize that. All right, let me get back to Donald Sutherland. I should acknowledge some comments. There's 115 comments. My gosh, I'm so sorry. We'll get back to Donald Sutherland in a little bit. Hello, Brain Benders Banter is in the house, and she's saying hey to Esmeralda. Are you kidding me? Esmeralda's here. She's been on the lam for a while. She's been moving in the Pacific Northwest part of the USA. Hope she's there. That's really cool. Hey, Lance is here. How you doing, Lance Chafin? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Have you made a donation today to the Podblast, Lance? Let's see here. My flock is everywhere. Southern California, Sarah. That's awesome. How are you? Can't do a show without you. Mid-sized Sasquatch is here. Good old Lobo is here. Lobo is in the house. Howdy, y'all. Hey to you, my brother. Let's see. And Lance, I said hey to him. Hello to number one Pepsi fan, Brandon Priest, Garbage Truck Videos in Canada. Hey, everyone. What's up? Hello. I kid, I joke. He's a Coca-Cola guy. He cannot stand Pepsi. Hello to Skelly Ton. Says, rest in peace, Don. Donald Sutherland, indeed. And good old Sarah saying hey to folks in the chat. This is way back. Let me try to get caught up. Hello to Keebler. I love her quiz show. Quest. It's so good. I love her. It's a mix between Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Is that your final answer? It's really good. And I'm always honored to play when she lets me be a contestant. She does it usually on Wednesday night. And it's always so much fun. Hey, Keebler. Listeners, I'm going to get back on track. Just a second. Oh, the nostalgic Podblast is in the house. I kid, I joke. That's me. Just saying hey to everybody. Wow. We've gone 42 minutes. I understand. I was late. I was about 8 minutes late. I was supposed to start at a certain time, and I started 8 minutes in. That's not professional. But just, I had to get my ducks in a row and have my video all loaded up. So I'm sorry. I was late. Danny Staten is not here. He watches wrestling on Friday night. He may pop in later, depending on how long we go. Jim's Camera at Dawn's in the house. That's his YouTube channel. Anyone that's listening at Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta or to the other audio platforms, please go to YouTube. Look up Jim's Camera at Dawn. He does some really excellent photography in the outdoors, talking waterfalls, talking mountain ranges. Good stuff. So, hey to you, Jim. And he's also on Saturday night, along with me and others like TD and Sarah on Brain Benders Banter, regular weekly Saturday night nostalgia roundtable. And that'll be tomorrow as we're live. Chance is my best YouTube buddy. Well, thanks, Brandon. Oh, here's the phone number I talked about earlier. And I'm going to do like what Sarah taught me, put a little star by it. So there, the phone number, if you want to call in to talk about Tom Kennedy down the line tonight, that's our game show MC, deceased game show MC of the week, or Donald Sutherland or anything, 770-438-1050 is the number. And I just pinned that. Jim's Camera at Dawn likes Dr. Pepper the best. That's his favorite soda choice. Same with my mom. She likes Dr. Pepper. People are saying hey to each other. I'm sorry, listeners. I will get back on track talking about Donald Sutherland. I'm almost done with his little life story there. Brain Benders Banter. It's a great YouTube channel that she runs, and she's on Facebook as well, and a nice page. It's all numeric puzzles for the most part, and they're really ingenious, and they really keep your mind sharp. So I'll be happy to be with her on her channel tomorrow night, Saturday night, at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern time. I think that's right. Yeah. I get confused because Sarah used to be on at 6:30 because she had to put her birds to sleep for the night, not permanently, of course. Yeah, thanks for putting the number up. Hang on, guys and gals. Let me just sift through here. Jerry Dobson. I didn't acknowledge Facebook yet. I want to say hi to Jerry Dobson, Jerry with a G of Nostalgia World on Facebook. He's very loyal, a loyal member of the audience. And James Von Spiegel is in the house watching on Facebook. Hello to you, sir. Happy that you're here watching. I'll get back on track. I just want to acknowledge the audience who took time out to watch or listen to this live. There's Esmeralda. Hello, Chance and Sarah. Thank you, my sister, for sending me the link. I have truly awful internet here, and it drops often. So please forgive me if I disappear. It will eventually come. I'm sorry you're having that problem. I wonder where you were at, but I knew you were in the process of moving. Nice to see you back. You're a favorite of mine, no doubt. And I don't play favorites, but you are a favorite. Jim's Camera at Dawn. That ball game was like Aztec game, talking about Battlestar Galactica, the game in that only episode, War of the Gods, the two-parter, where you saw in part one, the fellas playing this sport aboard the Galactica. Yeah, it was like that. So let's see here. There are those who believe that life here began out there. I have missed you all so much, especially you, Sarah. Oh, that's sweet. Hello to Cooking with Silence. Yo, says Cooking with Silence. Yo to you. I'll be your yo-yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, Emma Effa. That stands for my friend. Mid-size Sasquatch. Aha, made it. Mid-size Sasquatch. I like that. Not Sasquatch, Sasquatch. It's very original. Mid-size says, rest in peace to Donald Sutherland. Yeah, Donald Sutherland. I like his son, too. Kiefer. I used to joke, call him Kiefer the Queefer. I don't know why. I have nothing against him. I just thought it was funny. It's pretty juvenile and stupid to say that. But I always liked, of course, 24. And he did this movie Freeway in 96, early Reese Witherspoon movie. Brooke Shields was in it. He played a creep. But I remember once I was in 2002, I was in California and I was on a date, Valentine's Day, with someone I met through a message board. I won't go into more detail than that. And we made reservations for a restaurant. He was trying to get in. This was right before 24 started. And they're like, sorry, you have to reservation. And he didn't say, do you know who I am? But he was kind of like, seriously? But it was Valentine's Day. And no matter who you are, you got to make a reservation. And we got seated, my date and I, right in front of him. I'll never forget that. I've never told that story before on the air. People are saying hey to each other. We're going to continue talking about the late, great Donald Sutherland in just a moment. Let's see. I'm all over. While I go through these comments, I'm just so impressed with Heroes and Icons channel. I'm going to mention Fall Guy again. I hear the groans from here. I won't be long with this, but it's so cool every Thursday at noon to see 5 episodes. I record them, even though I have them on film, but they're playing them with the pop songs intact. The season 2 that streams on Prime are the 2007 DVD releases where they took out the pop songs. So someone had the balls and the deep pockets, I suppose, to go ahead and get the original masters of Fall Guy to air on Heroes and Icons. Although season 1 is the 2006 Fox DVD version with the musical replacement issues and Paul Williams cut from the pilot. I don't know why, but hell, I'm so grateful to have my films with that stuff in it intact. Well, doggone it, I wanted to show you the DVDs. Here they are. Here they are. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the 2006 Fall Guy release in the USA and Canada. Region 1, as it were, is what they call it. That's season 1. And they left off Doug Barr, Howie, from the cover. That really irks me because he's a big part of the trio. You know, it's like you wouldn't take out Bones. You know, you wouldn't just have Kirk and Spock. It was a trio. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. There's season 2. This is the European-only release from 2007. The show was a little bit more popular at the time overseas in Europe. So they released. So that's the season. Again, no Doug Barr, no Howie. She sure got Heather showing there. And then even on the back, God, it's so disrespectful to Doug Barr. And they didn't have a cameo from Doug in the movie, the Ryan Reynolds movie, which unfortunately flopped at the box office. They weren't really faithful to the character of Colt Seavers in that movie, in my opinion. I liked the movie, but as a Fall Guy fan, I did not like what they did with the character. I won't rehash what I've already discussed. Oh, look, they have a little picture of Doug Barr on the very back of the season 1 USA set. So anyway, Heroes and Icons, I won't play that trailer again. There's a 30-second trailer I have queued up, but I've played it a lot. It looks like they're going to play all 5 seasons for the first time since 1997. And I'm telling you, they have done such a good job. They did go back and remaster these. And how I know is it has in one of the episodes at the end, it has the Fox logo. And I meant to pull those to show you an example. I'll try to do that tonight or next week. It has the old dun, 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 dun. I can't do it, but I'll just show you. I'll show you. I won't embarrass myself trying to do it. But it showed the visual of the classic Fox 1980s logo, but you heard the 1990s like redone logo. So that tells me obviously someone had gotten into the 35 millimeter masters and digitized them with the pop songs intact, and it never looked better. The visual quality is stunning. All right, let me get back to Donald Sutherland and the comments here. I want to make sure I said hey to everybody who is watching live, taking time out of their Friday night as we're live, which is very kind because there's better things to do on Friday night. There just is. Hey, I shouldn't say that. Why would I advertise against my own show? That's kind of cuckoo. So let me just get caught up. Brain Benders Banter. There's the phone number again. Jim's camera at dawn. I'm sorry, listeners, this is really bad audio. Oh, that's me. I said hey to Jim and Jerry and Facebook Live and the Facebook side. Jim Von Spiegel, hello to you, and hello to you, Jerry Dobson, Nostalgia World. Hope you're doing well. So, okay, I think we're all caught up. Jerry Dobson, hope you got a kick out of my video I sent you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I appreciate you sending it. I'll look. Okay, so Esmeralda is in Washington State now. She was in Oregon. So she went from worse to just bad. I'm just kidding. It's a beautiful state in Washington. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's gorgeous there. I've never been there. I just know from the movies. And the Space Needle. It's cool there, isn't it? It really is. I bet you're. How do you like it? Let me know in the comments. How do you like your new home? I hope that you're having a good time there. All right, let's get back. No, you rock. Let's get back to Donald Sutherland before everyone checks out. All right. So where I left off, I played an interview with Donald talking about his iconic role in Animal House, where he showed his ass, family show, his rear end in that movie. And he told the origin of that. It was meant just for the crew as a joke. And John Landis, the director, who incidentally got personally sued for his segment in Twilight Zone, the movie, filmed in 82, released in 83, in which there was a tragedy. Vic Morrow was beheaded when a helicopter went down on the set and 2 kids were killed. It was a terrible tragedy. And did you know Vic Morrow's, his daughter is Jennifer Jason Leigh from Fast Times at Ridgemont High and many other things. She's acting now today in 2024 and getting all sorts of accolades. She's very talented. But I believe I read they had a falling out, and that's sad that, you know, when he passed away, I don't know. I wasn't there. I just read that they weren't speaking, and that's too bad. You know, it's like an Angelina Jolie situation with her papa, the Midnight Cowboy, John Voight. They don't speak. Allegedly, reportedly. Let's see here. Okay, I've lost my place. Talked about Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland teaming up again for Steelyard Blues. Steelyard Blues released in 1973, which is an Age of Aquarius romp and roll caper, according to the writer David S. Ward. Donald, let's see here. So where I left off, I was talking about how he eventually became a leading man thanks to his performances in movies like MASH. We talked about Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He played a health inspector alongside a young Jeff Goldblum. Okay. And he also helped launch the internationally popular Canadian television series Witness to Yesterday, with a performance as the Montreal doctor. I know I said this already. Norman Bethune, a physician and humanitarian, largely talking of Bethune's experiences in revolutionary China. And we talked about the pot-smoking professor he played in National Lampoon's Animal House. Mine's bigger. Remember that? Remember that scene with the dean's wife in the grocery store? And she's looking at a cucumber. The family show. So many great moments in Animal House. Like, I'm going to say this. This is a family show. Remember when John Belushi's Bluto character is like creeping on the ladder and he sees a girl, Smith. She was actually for a while Mel Blanc's daughter-in-law through marriage. Of course, that's how that works. But she's sort of undressing. And then he falls back. Did you get why he fell back? It's because he gets an erection and that pushes his ladder away from the side of the house. I always thought it was just a funny, he couldn't handle it or whatever, but that's what it's supposed to be. I think that's hilarious. That's like a little subtle thing. And hey, National Lampoon magazine, that was one of the first books you could get that showed breasts when you're like an adolescent, from a guy's perspective or a lesbian's perspective for that fact. Sorry, Jim Von Spiegel. He likes a clean show. But I'm not using bad language. I'm sorry. I just thought that was so funny. Never really talked about that. Oh, I just forgot to turn on this light. John Belushi gets a Woody, and that's why he falls back in the ladder. Oh man, I need to see that movie again. I have it on Laserdisc. I need to get it on friggin' Blu-ray. All right, so let's see. Okay. When Donald Sutherland was cast in National Lampoon's Animal House, he was offered either $40,000 up front or 2% of the film's gross earnings at the box office. Thinking the film would certainly not be a big success, he chose the upfront payment of 40 grand. The film eventually grossed $141.6 million. So that wasn't a wise move, but who knew, right? Also in 1978, Donald Sutherland starred in the heist comedy film The First Great Train Robbery alongside Sean Connery. Yes, Sean Connery. He was praised for his performance in the Italian director Bernardo Bertolucci's 1976 epic film 1900, and as the conflicted father in the Academy Award-winning family drama Ordinary People, released in 1980 opposite Mary Tyler Moore and Timothy Hutton. In 1981, he narrated A War Story, which is an Ann Wheeler film. Donald Sutherland played the role of a physician hero in Bethune. We already talked about that, released in 1977, and in Bethune, The Making of a Hero, years later in 1990, a 1990 release. In 1983, Donald Sutherland co-starred with Terry Garr and the great Tuesday Weld in an adaptation of John Steinbeck's The Winter of Our Discontent. Almost done, folks, and then we'll play some clips. We're going to talk about some game show stuff and hopefully have a good time tonight. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, some of Donald Sutherland's better-known roles in the 1980s and 1990s were in the apartheid drama A Dry White Season, released in 1989. Alongside Marlon Brando, going to talk about him tonight in a way, and Susan Sarandon. And he played a sadistic warden in a movie called Lockup, released in 1989 with Sylvester Stallone as an incarcerated pyromaniac in the firefighter thriller Backdraft, released in 1991 alongside Kurt Russell and Robert De Niro. He also played the humanitarian doctor activist Norman Bethune. I already said this. This article is repetitive. In 1990s, Bethune, The Making of a Hero, the sequel. And he was a snobbish New York City art dealer in 6 Degrees of Separation, released in 1993, alongside Stockard Channing from Grease and Will Smith from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air TV show. And, of course, rap music. Keep my wife out your mouth. Welcome to Earth. That's my impression of Will Smith. Hope that wasn't too loud. Keep my damn wife out your mouth. Isn't that what he said at the Oscars Slapgate with Chris Rock? In the 1991 Oliver Stone film JFK, Donald Sutherland played a mysterious Washington intelligence officer said to have been L. Fletcher Prouty, who spoke of links to the military-industrial complex in the assassination of U.S. President John F. Kennedy. He played psychiatrist and visionary Willem Reich in the video for Kate Bush's 1985 single, Cloud Busting. How about that? I didn't know that. In 1992, Donald Sutherland played the role of Merrick in the film Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Christy Swanson as Buffy and Luke Perry from Beverly Hills 90210, who passed away in 2019, I think it was. In 1994, Donald Sutherland played the head of a government agency hunting for aliens who take over people's bodies, a premise similar to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, in the film based on Robert A. Heinlein's 1951 book, The Puppet Masters. In 1994, Donald Sutherland played a software company scheming CEO, chief executive officer, in Barry Levinson's drama Disclosure, opposite Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. In 1994, Donald Sutherland played a KGB officer in the video game Conspiracy. And in 1995, Donald was cast as Major General Donald McClintock in Wolfgang Petersen's Outbreak. I need to see that again. In a post COVID world, Outbreak would be interesting to see. I remember that. And I think wasn't Dustin Hoffman in that? Yeah, he was. I saw that in the theater, but it's been since then, since the 90s when I saw it last. Donald Sutherland was later cast in 1996 for the second time with his son, Kiefer Sutherland, in Joel Schumacher's A Time to Kill. Yeah, kill him and I hope he burns in hell! Wasn't that the movie? Samuel Jackson, A Time to Kill. Wasn't that his line? Yeah, kill him and I hope he burns in hell! On the stand. Sorry. Donald Sutherland played the famous American Civil War general Beauregard in the 1999 film The Hundley. Oh, I love this movie, Space Cowboys. I almost forgot about that. Remember Space Cowboys, released in 2000? Donald Sutherland played an astronaut with his co-stars Clint Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones and James movie. Donald Sutherland was a model for Chris Claremont and John Byrne to create Donald Pierce, the Marvel Comics character whose last name comes from Donald Sutherland's character in the 1970 film MASH, Hawkeye Pierce. In more recent years, Donald Sutherland was known for his role as Reverend Monroe in the Civil War drama Cold Mountain, released in 2003, and in the drama thriller Baltic Storm in 2003. In the remake of The Italian Job in 2003, and also in the TV series Commander-in-Chief from 2005 to 2006. He also was in the film Fierce People, released in 2005 with Diane Lane and Anton Yelchin. And he was Mr. Bennett in Pride and Prejudice, released in 2005, starring alongside Keira Knightley. I wish I could Keira Knightley. I don't know what that means. All right. He also played a minor role in Mike Bender's Reign Over Me, released in 2007. Donald Sutherland starred as Trip Darling in the primetime drama series Dirty Sexy Money for ABC TV. He played multimillionaire Nigel Honeycutt in the 2008 film Fool's Gold. I love that movie. Fool's Gold. It had Goldie Hawn's daughter. From Almost Famous. What's her friggin' name? And all right. Let me look that up because there's a really odd shot. My friend Hunter and I always got a kick out of this. There's a scene where someone throws a sword into the air or a sword goes flying and it lands between this girl's legs who's in a bikini. It's just a weird shot. It's like, I love that movie. That shot always sticks to my mind. But Fool's Gold, that was a good comedy. That was a good, not even romantic comedy. It was just a comedy because I don't think there was a whole lot of romance in it, as I recall. And Kate Hudson. She was cute as a button in that movie with Matthew McConaughey. I forgot Donald Sutherland. Kevin Hart's in that. It's one of his first things, one of his first big roles. I need to see that again. Note to self, Fool's Gold. That was a good movie. And that scene with the sword, if you've not seen it, you'll think of the Nostalgic Podblast. If you ever see that movie streaming somewhere, or if you're still channel surfing, look at the scene with the sword and the girl who looks shocked when the sword lands right between her legs. It's just a bizarre thing. All right, let me get back down to earth here. So Fool's Gold. Now, Donald Sutherland's distinctive voice was also used in many radio and television commercials, including those for Delta Airlines, Volvo Automobiles, Drive Safely, and Simply Orange juice. He had that lisp, Simply Orange. All right, so we're almost done with the remembrance of Donald Sutherland here. Several notable Canadians, including Donald Sutherland, carried the Olympic flag at the 2010 Winter Olympics ceremony in Vancouver. He's a Canadian at heart, just like William Shatner. Donald Sutherland provided voiceovers and narration during the intro of the first semifinal of Eurovision Song Contest in 2009 and the opening ceremony of the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. and was also one of the Olympic flag bearers. He was also the narrator of CTV's I Believe television ads in the lead up to the games, the Winter Olympic Games. In 2010, Donald Sutherland starred alongside an ensemble cast in a TV adaptation of Ken Follett's novel, The Pillars of the Earth in 2010. Beginning in 2012, Donald Sutherland portrayed President Snow, the main antagonist in the Hunger Games film franchise. In the Hunger Games in 2012, and the Hunger Games Catching Fire in 2013, and Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 in 2014, and Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 released in 2015. They shot it all at the same time here in Atlanta. His role was well received by fans and critics alike for the Hunger Games, for his performance in the Hunger Games. On March 26, 2012, Donald Sutherland was a guest on the Opie and Anthony radio show. Our friend of the show, Ryan Settles, likes Opie and Anthony. They're outrageous, or they were outrageous. He's always talking about that show, where he mentioned on Opie and Anthony he had been offered the lead roles in Deliverance and Straw Dogs, although he turned both down because he did not want to appear in violent films at the time. He's a true hippie at heart. The role in Deliverance went to John Voight, whom I mentioned when I was talking about Angelina Jolie, his daughter, biological daughter, and the role in Straw Dogs went to Dustin Hoffman, and both films enjoyed critical and box office successes. After declining these violent roles, he said, quote, "And I then played a fascist in 1900. Sutherland appeared in the European police film Crossing Lines, which premiered on June 23rd, 2013 on the NBC television network in the USA. Sutherland, who played the chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court named Mikael Dorn, not Michael Dorn. Michael Dorn played a Klingon in Star Trek The Next Generation on TV and on the big screen, and he was in Chips too as Officer Turner. He played a character, Michael, M-I-C-H-E-L, Michael Dorn, and was one of only 2 actors to appear in all episodes across 3 seasons of International Criminal Court. In 2016, Donald Sutherland was a member of the main competition jury of the 2016 Cannes Film Festival. On September 6, 2017, it was announced that Donald Sutherland, along with 3 other recipients, would receive an honorary Oscar award, which he did, from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for, quote, for a lifetime of indelible characters rendered with unwavering truthfulness, unquote. Now, this was Donald Sutherland's first Academy Award in his then 6-decade-long film career, an honorary award. Harrison Ford should get an honorary award, don't you think? What's up with that? But at one time, he was commanding $20 million per picture, so at least he was well compensated, Harrison Ford. In 2018, and so did Jim Carrey. For a while, he was pulling in, I think, 20 mil in the 90s. In 2018, Donald Sutherland portrayed an oil tycoon named J. Paul Getty in the FX cable channel's historical drama series titled Trust. In 2020, Donald Sutherland appeared in the HBO limited series The Undoing, alongside Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman. Donald Sutherland plays the role of Mr. Harrigan in the 2022 Netflix film titled Mr. Harrigan's Phone, written and directed by John Lee Hancock, based on the novel of the same name from the book If It Bleeds by Stephen King, as in if it bleeds, it leads. In terms of his personal life, did you know that Donald Sutherland was made an officer of the Order of Canada on December 18th, 1978, and promoted to Companion of the Order of Canada in 2019. He was inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame in March of 2000. In the year 2000, Little Conan O'Brien Team Coco reference, a little bit they used to do in the 90s. Like 2000 was so futuristic, just like Space 1999, so futuristic. It's dated now. In name only is dated. All right, so Donald Sutherland maintained a home in Georgeville, Quebec. Donald Sutherland was married 3 times. His first marriage, to whom we already talked about, Lois May Hardwick, a head school teacher, lasted from 1959 until 1966. His second marriage lasted from 1966 to 1970, was to Shirley Douglas, daughter of Tammy Douglas, the Social Democratic former premier of Saskatchewan. I can't pronounce it. Known as the father of Medicare in Canada. Donald Sutherland and Douglas had 2 children, twins Kiefer and Rachel. I didn't know Kiefer was a biological twin, fraternal twin. Of course, they're all biological. You know what I mean? Fraternal twin, non-identical. Obviously, because boy and a girl. Pretty cool. Didn't know that. I love learning along with you folks. You fine people out there in the audience. Donald Sutherland and Douglas, Shirley Douglas, had 2 children, twins Kiefer and Rachel. From 1970 to 1972, he had an affair with his Klute, K-L-U-T-E, co-star Jane Fonda. What a homewrecker. Homewrecker. But hey, she was Barbarella once, so. And she was in a movie, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? With Ging Young was in it. Yowza, yowza, yowza. It was about a dance marathon. I had a scope 16mm film print of that. I sold it years back because that movie didn't do much for me. And I got it for free when I bought a scope lens in 1995 from Cinevision in the Atlanta, Georgia area for $350. And I still have that lens. It allows you, if you have an anamorphic film print on 16, like I have with Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back and Superman movies and stuff, you have to use this lens to get the full widescreen ratio. Donald Sutherland married French-Canadian actress Francine Racette in 1972. Her last name is spelled Racette in 1972, after meeting her on the set of the Canadian pioneer drama titled Alien Thunder. They had 3 sons, Rossif Sutherland, Angus Redford Sutherland, and Rogue Sutherland, R-O-E-G, Rogue Sutherland. Just covering the bases in case the G is pronounced that way. I'm not sure. All of whom were named after directors Sutherland had worked with. That's interesting. He named his kids after movie directors. How methodical. Interesting. So Kiefer Sutherland, his, I guess, best known child, his son with Douglas, is named after American-born director and writer Warren Kiefer, who under the assumed name of Lorenzo Sabatini directed Donald Sutherland in his first feature film, the Italian low-budget horror film Castle of the Living Dead is the translated title. Rogue, R-O-E-G, is named after director Nicolas Rogue. Rossif is named after French director Frederic Rossif. And Angus Redford has his middle name after Robert Redford. Okay, well, Donald Sutherland was an anti-war activist who started the Free Theater Associates, a.k.a. Free the Army, tour with Jane Fonda, the traitor. I'm kidding. Peter Boyle. Wow, from Young Frankenstein. No, put it on the Ritz. Howard Hessman from WKRP in Cincinnati, of course, is Johnny Fever. Elliot Gould. I never cared for him. I never liked Elliot Gould. I'm sorry. I know Barbara Streisand. I like Barbara. Barbara was married. They had a romance and all that. Anyway, Mike Nichols, Ben Vereen, Dick Gregory, and Nina Simone, and other celebrities as an alternative to Bob Hope's USO tour in Vietnam. Wow. Documents declassified in 2017 show that Donald Sutherland was on the National Security Agency watch list between 1970 and 1973. Those are the Nixon years. At the request of the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, because of his anti-war activities. Donald Sutherland was a vocal opponent of the Vietnam War. He also opposed the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. All right, well, you believe what you believe. That's up to you. Sutherland became the blogger for the American news website, The Huffington Post. I can't stand them. I tell you what, this lady, don't get me started. Ariana Huffington look, she's mega successful, and that's fine, but she's done so much harm through propaganda and lies. I'm telling you, man, just don't get me started. We're a family show. I will not read anything from that freaking rag. But Donald Sutherland became a blogger for the American news website, The Huffington Post, during the 2008 United States presidential election campaign. In his blogs, he stated his support for Barack Hussein Obama. It just says Barack Obama in this. I remember when he was sworn in, Barack Hussein Obama. People were like, Hussein, where'd that come from? Although he was proud to be Canadian and an officer in the Order of Canada, and had no intention of changing his citizenship, like William Shatner, and that's his right, Donald Sutherland complained in 2015 that he was not allowed to vote for over 5 years. The Supreme Court of Canada allowed expats to vote in national elections in a decision handed down in 2019. Okay. So now we're getting to his sad passing. Donald Sutherland died on June 20th, 2024, which was a Thursday in Miami at the age of 88, following a long illness. Kiefer Sutherland announced his death on X, formerly known as Twitter, adding, quote, "He loved what he did, and he did what he loved. And one can never ask for more than that. A life well lived." Unquote, or on X, I should say. Upon hearing of his death, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, with the phony eyebrows, wrote, "We've lost one of the greats. Donald Sutherland brought a level of brilliance to his craft few could match. A remarkable, legendary actor and a great Canadian." Unquote. U.S. President Joe Biden, "Let's go by Brandon Biden," wrote, quote, "Donald Sutherland was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, and one of a kind actor who inspired and entertained the world for decades." Numerous members of the film industry wrote condolences, including Jane Fonda, Alec Baldwin, "Don't shoot!" Tom Blythe, Josh Brolin. Oh, I can't say. When I can say, I'll say Kim Cattrall, John Cusack. I love Kim Cattrall. Porky's, and of course, Sex and the City. And she was a Romulan in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. I love that scene. Does that mind meld? She's a traitor in the Star Trek universe. And Spock mind meld. She's going, he's like tearing her brain apart. She does her moaning again in a different way. She's going, she does not know. There's nothing there. But they had been like, everyone in this conspiracy to get rid of the Federation president, I won't say how, like in a deadly way, were exposed. And it was a good movie, directed by Nicholas Meyer, who previously directed Star Trek II, The Wrath of, you know it, that was weird. Khan's like, yes, vengeance. He wants vengeance. Oh, that vengeance. I feel your hate. Admiral Kirk. Admiral. Been promoted, that son of a bitch. This is City Alpha 5. Sorry. It's the coffee. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just back up that sentence. Numerous members in the film industry wrote condolences about the passing of the great, late Donald Sutherland, including those I'd mentioned, and Michael Douglas, didn't mention him yet, Roland Emmerich, Ron Howard, the great Ron Howard, the most successful former child actor of all time, because he got behind the camera, started directing, he wised up, earned a Mint. Janet Maslin, Ellen Mirren, Lou Diamond Phillips, I forgot all about him. He kind of fell off. He was a thing, man. The Young Guns and all those movies, I forgot all about him until this moment. Richard Roper, Will Smith, keep my wife out your damn mouth. Henry Winkler, the Fonz, Edgar Wright, and Rachel Zegler. In 2023, Donald Sutherland told the Canadian press he had not spent much time reflecting on the legacy of his career, stating, it's over, or very nearly over, so I guess I got to get down to thinking about it, unquote. Viking Canada is set to publish his memoir titled Made Up But Still True. In November of this year, 2024, it'll be released. Helen Moran named Donald Sutherland as, quote, one of the smartest actors I ever worked with. He had a wonderful, inquiring brain and a great knowledge of a wide variety of subjects. He combined this great intelligence with a deep sensitivity and with seriousness about his profession as an actor. This all made him into the legend of film that he became, unquote. Indeed. Now, David Oyelowo, I'm not even going to try to say this name. It's spelled Oyelowo. David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo, who worked with Donald Sutherland on what became his final performance in Lawmen. Bass Reeves. Geez, I should have researched how to pronounce these. Lawman Bass Reeves stated that, quote, given the iconic status that he rightly achieved, having a front row seat to Donald Sutherland's last on-screen performance was both a privilege and clear evidence to me of his deep passion for the craft of acting. The glint in his eye was that of an inquisitive, hungry artist still on the hunt for the truth. Seeking that glint up close in the eyes of a legend was something to behold, unquote. Jane Fonda, who worked with Donald Sutherland in Clute back in 1971, wrote, Donald was a brilliant actor and a complex man who shared quite a few adventures with me, such as the FTA show, an anti-Vietnam War tour that performed for 60,000 active duty soldiers, sailors, and Marines in Hawaii and Okinawa in the Philippines and Japan in 1971. I am heartbroken, unquote. William Baldwin remembered him in a tribute. Actor Tom Blythe, who later portrayed Donald Sutherland's Hunger Games character, President Snow, paid tribute in an Instagram post, which read, the long list of Sutherland's roles and accomplishments shows a man who understood emotion well. But it's this marriage of suspicion and empathy, human feeling, and the fear of humanity gone wrong that secured his place in acting history and made him an uncommon kind of star. He didn't disappear into a role. Not exactly. He was too distinctive for that. More often, the role disappeared into him, and the result was something unforgettable. Elisa Wilkinson. That was a quote from Elisa Wilkinson in an article in the New York Times from June 20th, 2024, the day he passed away. The article was titled, Donald Sutherland Didn't Disappear into His Roles, and That Was a Good Thing. Donald Sutherland's BBC obituary says that the, quote, late Donald Sutherland cast a literal and figurative shadow over his industry for almost 50 years, unquote. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw wrote that, quote, Sutherland was an utterly unique actor and an irreplaceable star, unquote, and, quote, was an aristocrat of screen actors, unquote. Variety.com's and Variety Magazine's Owen Gleiberman wrote that, quote, in 1970, Donald Sutherland was the coolest movie star on the planet. The moment I saw him in MASH, I knew he was the person I wanted to be. The same way I wanted to be Mick Jagger or Steve McQueen, unquote. Final sentence about the late, great Donald Sutherland. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said, I read this, didn't I? No, I read his tweet, his X, whatever you want to call it, stated, he was a man with a strong presence, a brilliance in his craft, and a truly great Canadian artist, and he will be deeply missed. My thoughts go out to Kiefer and the entire Sutherland family, as well as all Canadians who are no doubt saddened to learn, as I am right now, unquote. So that was a different one than the one I read previously. So that's a great life and a great talent. Man, what an incredible dude. He was 88. Rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. My wonderful game show people, if you're still out there, we're going to talk about game show. What I like to do when I go long like this, I've gone an hour and a half almost. Going to try to keep it to under 3 hours tonight. I will later put in cue marks. So if you just care about the game show remembrances, I'll have a cue mark on the YouTube side and the Facebook side, the Facebook Live video side. I can't do it on the X feed or Twitch, but I'll have an exact cue mark. If you just want to get to the game show remembrance of Tom Kennedy, boom, it'll take you right there after I'm live. When we're live, you just got to wait. And I'm sorry, I try not to go too long. So I wanted to give justice to Donald Sutherland. So I don't care about the politics. He was either way, that's your personal belief system. And he was a hell of a talent, and he certainly will be missed, but he's immortal on film, and I'll never forget that Invasion of the Body Snatchers appearance. So acting appearance of his as a lead character, as the inspector, who unfortunately did not have a happy ending. Now let me see about the clips. Why don't we break it up some, and I'll finally get to the comments. We're going to talk about our Moonraker controversy. It's solved, man. It's solved. Let me just make sure that there wasn't something else that I wanted to play pertaining to, let's see here. Did I already? Oh, I know there was something. Oh, gosh darn it. I got to delete a clip. I should play a clip while I do this. Let me just, for something completely different. I want to talk about Neil Norman briefly. This is a record album, Science Fiction Greatest Hits. He did covers, if you will, of musical themes. I thought he should have been a much bigger star. I know of 3 albums he did, including this one. This is cool. This is got this from Turtles Records and Tapes here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, now defunct Turtles Records and Tapes. And I love this little sticker I kept on the plastic, as seen on MTV. I'm going to play a clip of Superman the movie, some of his music. There's a reason. The biggest shot in the arm in a good way that he received was from Paul Schaefer and Late Night with David Letterman, because Chris Elliott did an impression of Marlon Brando, and he came out looking kind of overweight and drunk. I'm going to try to play a little clip. This is from the official Letterman channel. So I said earlier, these are from unofficial sources. Besides this one, I can't play the whole thing. I just want you to hear the version of the Superman theme by John Williams that Paul Schaefer's playing. It's the reorchestration by Neil Norman. So I always thought that was cool that Paul Schaefer was inspired and, came up with a rock sounding version of the Superman theme. Let's watch this together. I need to get some more coffee. I'm not going to play the whole clip. It's 3 minutes, 49 seconds. I think I would tick off the Letterman people and it might get blocked. I don't know. I'm just going to try to play the music and you'll see how Chris Elliott looked as Marlon Brando. Let's watch this.
Coming up in this half hour, Harvey Picar will be with us. And tomorrow, what? Marlon is that? Marlon Brando is here? Marlon Brando is here? See if he'll come in. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Marlon Brando. I'm sorry, it's only Chris Elliott, ladies and gentlemen. I thought there for a second it might really be Marlon Brando.
Oh, now, before you start with your witty needles, I have something for you. I brought you something.
Okay.
And if I could just take a minute to give it to you, where the hell? Here it is. I brought for you a letter because everybody on your staff says that you are the letter man. So here's your letter, man.
I better cut it right there. Because I see the rest on the Letterman official YouTube channel. Chris Elliott as Marlon Brando. It was a bit he did. I thought it was hilarious. So, not that Dave's watching me. Sorry, Dave, if you're pissed. Jeez. All right. So here is a little bit of the Neil Norman Superman theme that you heard there. This was the same sheet music from the Neil Norman version. Let's just now grab some coffee. It's 2 minutes long. Let's just watch this together. See, I love that bit at the end. That bum bum. I don't remember that like in the John Williams version. I always love that little thing at the end. That wasn't a good clip of Letterman. There are better examples out there somewhere where like Paul Schaefer's really doing the upbeat Superman that you just heard. That bum 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 bum. It sounds just like the Neil Norman version. So that's all I had to say about that. Now, guess I should go ahead and talk about, before I get into Tom Kennedy. By the way, the Kennedy is not going to be, but maybe there's a lot of clips, funny clips, but it's not going to be as long as my tribute to Donald Sutherland's passing. So it's not going to be like a 90-minute tribute. It's not going to be the biography channel, but I'm going to give justice to Tom Kennedy, who also was in a really good Hardcastle McCormick playing a murderer game show host, and it's called Games People Play from season 3, which last time I checked was streaming for free on Crackle, which you can download that app for free on your television. It's not quite as good as Tubi, but it has commercials, not as bad interruption. Actually, it's actually worse than Tubi's limited commercial interruptions. But I was like Hardcastle McCormick lasted 3 years. Oh, you know what? That was one of the clips I wanted to play, and I'll get back on track. Talk about the expose about. Let me delete this and upload this. The expose about Moonraker. I'm going to shed some light onto a little controversy about the James Bond movie Moonraker with some clips. All right. I'm going to say a prayer the stream doesn't go down. I'm going to play the opening to Hardcastle McCormick for those that have never heard of it, and to remind people that do remember the show. I kind of like this opening and this theme. So here it goes. In just a second. Here we go. Ready? Let's watch this together. And let me just do a little prayer that the stream doesn't go down. I don't know if this is going to be an issue with the bots. Let's see. Let's find out together.
Milton C. Hardcastle is a retired judge from the Los Angeles Superior Court. Mark McCormick, an ex-race car driver turned thief, was Hardcastle's last case. McCormick has been placed in the judge's custody, and together they're going after 200 cases that walked out of Hardcastle's courtroom on technicalities.
State of the art. Lay down the law. Don't you let them cross the line. Under the hood, got the bad and the good. Everybody's doing time. Drive. Listen to the floor till the end and scream. Drive. Driving like the team and the drives your dream.
I like that theme. You know, they really screwed up in season 2. They changed the theme, and it was the same guy that did The Greatest American Hero. The same singer, what was his name? Someone in chat will know. But it was a terrible theme. It didn't have that rock, that high energy theme. And then he changed it back. I guess they got so many letters, ABC did, and the producers got so many complaints. Like, why did you change that opening? It was the lamest. It was like a Friends kind of song. It just did not fit that show. And God bless Brian Keith. Reportedly, he killed himself when he got cancer. He put a shotgun in his mouth, pulled the trigger. His daughter says that's not the case. I don't know. I wasn't there. You know, it's just a sad thing. And I liked him, of course, in the Family Affair and the first Fugitive, Fear in a Desert City, the pilot to The Fugitive. He played a psycho, obsessed with his ex-wife and stuff. It was really an interesting performance. Let me see here. Let me go to... Well, it doesn't really matter. I should just move along. Move along. Nothing to see here. Move along. You don't need to see his identification. We don't need to see his identification. These aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids we're looking for. He can go about his business. You can go about your business. Move along. Move along. Move along. Little Star Wars reference. Sorry. Let me see what I prepared for you guys and gals. Yeah, that Hardcastle McCormick, I tried to find a clip. They had like a little trailer before the opening credits showing Tom Kennedy. It was like 1 minute long. I looked high and low for it. I could have like just recorded my TV with my phone, but it would have looked like crap off Crackle, assuming it's still on Crackle. But season 3, games people play. It's a very enjoyable performance by Tom Kennedy. I really, really liked it. So what should we do? Why don't we talk about the Moonraker deal? It's about what I call Bracegate. We've talked about it before. I won't be long with this. In Moonraker, Jaws finally finds the love of his life, Dolly, and they meet, and he smiles his steely, metallic teeth her direction, and then she smiles back. I and many others remember she had braces. However, that's not the case. I'm going to state my case. We're going to get to the truth right now. There's a bull crap video or two on YouTube where someone has, to prove their point, added braces to her teeth. But I have absolute proof here. Let me just play this fakey clip. Look how they overdid this clip. It's a 21-second clip. This person, I think, is in the UK, and they claim they have a UK broadcast that shows the braces. And they have like tracking to make it look like a legitimate VHS. They overdid it. They made it look too much like a videotape. This is fake as hell. Let me just play this 21-second clip for you, and then I'll state my case. It's a fake. It's a fake. I'm going to prove it. Wait for it. Here is from 1988. This is a rebroadcast on ABC TV. Now, I held out hope. Someone had also posted a fake movie review. Let me see if I still have it. I want to show you this. A fake movie review. We're going to get to the Tom Kennedy segment in a minute. I think I still have it in here. It might be in Sarah's StreamYard. Ah, hell. Well, there was a fake movie review where this guy supposedly referenced that moment that she has more hardware in her mouth than Jaws when they smile at each other. And it was a total Photoshop job. Here's my proof. Now I'm going to state my case of why I know she didn't have braces, although it would have been better if she did. Same, BK in the Air agrees with me on that. Heard him say on his show about that when I called in to talk with him about it in his radio show on WBHF Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to noon. But here's Exhibit A. I looked up the friggin' Laserdisc, so it's not like a George Lucas situation special edition where they might have gone in and made some changes. Why would you would put the braces on, not take them off to make changes, right? There's my Laserdisc. It is not sealed. It's in plastic. I open it from the side. That's what I always did with a knife, and you can slide them out and watch the discs. It's not in there. Take my word for it. It's not in the VHS. I checked that. I checked everything. There's no braces in the theatrical version. Now, there was a theory that in the TV version, there were always TV versions in the late 70s and early 80s that had extended scenes, cut scenes, alternate scenes. And I thought, you know what? They did different takes in National Lampoon's Vacation and Fast Times at Ridgemont High that would run on TBS and on CBS network where they couldn't have the profanity, of course, so they reshot the scenes. And I thought maybe there was an on-set argument. Someone wanted her to have braces and someone didn't. So they flipped a coin. All right, in the theatrical take, she won't have braces. In the TV version for ABC, she will. I suspended my disbelief. I thought maybe that's why so many people remember having braces. However, I'm going to dispel this right now in this ad for the ABC cut. Wait for it at the very end of the clip. Tell me, does she have braces or not? Now, this couldn't have been effed with. This is actual raw footage from ABC TV from July 17th, 1988, when they rebroadcast Moonraker on that network.
The hijacking of a space shuttle spins 007 into fast-paced action. Roger Moore.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Reaching new heights.
Any higher, Mr. Bond, my ears will pop.
Rendezvous in orbit. 1 week from tonight. Moonraker.
No braces at the end. That's worth playing back. I'm going to play it again. I love that editing. I love Ernie Anderson's awesome voice. Rendezvous. It's just sexy, man. I mean, I'm a ladies' man, but I mean, I get turned on hearing that guy's voice. I mean, he has a great voice. Let's watch it again. Look at the end. Wait for it. She smiled. Look again. There's no braces, and that's from the TV version. I thought maybe they had an alternate take. Don't believe the bull crap on YouTube. Don't believe these doctored videos, these doctored quote unquote movie reviews from a newspaper. If I don't see it on microfiche from a library, it's bull crap. All right, let's watch one more time. Look at Dolly's teeth when she smiles. No braces.
The hijacking of a space shuttle spins 007 into fast-paced action. Roger Moore.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Reaching new heights.
Any higher, Mr. Bond, my ears will pop.
Rendezvous in orbit. 1 week from tonight. Moonraker.
Great. Now, Sarah in Southern California, I need to send you a link. I want you to come on later in the show. Just for your benefit, because you're on a Space 1999 kick along with as I am watching on Shout Factory's official YouTube channel, Shout Studios. They released them on Blu-ray, Space 1999. In Moonraker, you will see some props from season 1 of Space 1999. In the main mission set, there were futuristic lamps. Remember, like a white lamp. And hell, it looked a little like this, actually, but not really. But it was like a white lamp. And, well, Drax in his space station, you'll see on a desk, they have those lamps because it was shot at Pinewood Studios in England, same place that Space 1999 was filmed between late 1973 and almost 1977. So there you go. So Moonraker is just a classic movie. Here's a 2-minute clip from someone else on YouTube talking about this Mandela effect. Did Dolly have braces or not? And you'll see some of the VHS that I should have converted for you tonight. This is watch.
This is Matrix Lord 212, and as you know, this past year, we were talking about the Mandela effect on the Everything Show. And I swore that I was going to try to prove each one wrong, that there is no such thing that someone travels through time, alters the timeline, and erases our memory. Well, our memories are intact, but erases the physical copy of different things. So one of the things that really got me pissed off was the fact that Moonraker, James Bond 007's Moonraker, with Roger Moore as 007, there was a scene where Dolly had braces. And I remember she had braces and she met Jaws and they fell in love because she had braces. For some reason, recently, any copies that is out there shows her have perfectly good teeth. So what the hell happened to the braces? Well, I did some investigating, reporting, and I decided to buy the oldest version of Moonraker I can get my hands on, and here it is. Okay, the oldest of the oldest, the CBS Fox VHS. All right, didn't cost me that much, about $3.41. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to try to forward this to the end and watch this part and film that exact scene. So join me, and here we go. This is the scene. Here we go. What the fuck? Fuck!
Sorry about that. Family show. I forgot about that at the end. Should have warned you if you have any kids. Von Spiegel, sorry about that. Jim Von Spiegel, if you had a grandchild or whatever in the room. But look, in chat, someone says she had braces. Let me put your comment back on the screen. Prove it. No, look, I'm not trying to be argumentative. Prove it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not on the Laserdisc. It's not on the VHS. It's nowhere. And these are, before digital technology where it could be altered. Brandy, I respectfully disagree. Brandy Haywood said she had braces. Prove it. I just played the TV version. She smiles, no braces. That's from ABC TV. All right, I've proven my point, I think. But you have to prove it. The burden of proof is on you to prove to me and to everybody that she had braces, because I'm showing you the contrary from the official, original, vintage sources like that gentleman did with the VHS. Look, he could have doctored that and taken the braces out. Fair point. But no, I mean, I saw it. You calling me a liar? I'm kidding. On the Laserdisc, they're not there. I'm going to do a follow-up. I'll get it on video on Laserdisc and prove that she did not have braces. And I'm as perplexed as you are, because I remember her having braces. And I've talked about this in the Podblast, I think going back 2 or 3 years. I'm like, I watched that recently and she didn't have braces. What the hell? So how do you explain it? And now another gentleman who I really like, this Gutfeld, who is in the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group, and sometimes he watches live and comments. I had done a post that Harrison Ford was in the original E.T. movie playing a school principal, but his scene was cut because his wife at the time, Melissa Matheson, wrote the screenplay to E.T., the extraterrestrial, not the extra testicle. That was a joke growing up. E.T., the extra testicle. That scene surfaced in a supplemental section on Laserdisc and on DVD and Blu-ray, but it was never in the film. Well, this gentleman contends, yes, it was. It was in the theatrical version, but then when they released it on VHS, they took it out. I saw that movie in the theater, and of course, Indiana Jones was out, and of course, I was a Star Wars freak, Han Solo. Man, we all would have noticed, and he doesn't have a line, but his proof was, he goes, I did a YouTube video, and I showed the Topps card. It shows the scene. Sir, just so you know, Topps cards going back to 1976 is King Kong, and then Star Wars after that, and Superman the movie the year after that in 78, all had scenes not in the movie. And I always wondered about these scenes, but you had to wait for the ABC TV or the NBC TV, which is where King Kong aired. It was on the NBC network. ABC aired Superman the movie. they put in a lot of the outtakes or a lot of these scenes that were cut from the theatrical version of the film. So just because it's on a card, just so you know, does not mean that it was in the theatrical version. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just know that Harrison Ford was never in the theatrical cut of E.T., whether he had a line or not. His hands or something. No. Now, Sarah, so you're saying you're agreeing with Brandy that Dolly had braces? Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, you have a right to your own opinion, but prove it. Prove it. And these videos are not reputable. I know. I mean, it tripped me out too. So that's the expose. I'm not the definitive person to answer that question. Did she have braces or not? I'm just contending for what it's worth that she did not, based on my own two eyes and the proof. Unless there was time travel, like that gentleman said in his video, that's kind of a spooky concept. Maybe someone went back in time and changed it. I mean, that's kind of a cuckoo theory, but it is bizarre because so many people remember her having braces, and it would make more sense when they smile at each other, the way it was shot with the music and everything. Seems like she would. Terrell is in the house. Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, fun fact, Richard Kiel, Jaws, in two of the best James Bond films from the Sir Roger Moore era, was originally cast as the Incredible Hulk, but was replaced by Lou Ferrigno, correct. And Kenneth Johnson, who directed the pilot, The Incredible Hulk, which aired as a movie of the week in November 1977, before it was a weekly hour-long show, is a guest of mine. He said there's one shot that remains, and it's when the Hulk is trying to get the girl out of the lake. It was a tribute to Frankenstein, right? Where this girl falls into the lake, and the Hulk takes a tree and tries to fish her out. And there's one shot overhead, and you see that thin Richard Kiel. His arms are like string beans. And what else was I going to say about Richard Kiel? He was in the Wild Wild West. He was in I Dream of Jeannie, episode 2 in black and white in Baghdad. He did a lot of TV work. He, of course, was in Twilight Zone. It's a cookbook. He was the alien with the huge misshapen head, to quote Captain Christopher Pike in The Cage. Yes. And about Richard Kiel, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Fun fact, at the end of The Spy Who Loved Me, watch the end credits. It says James Bond will return and For Your Eyes Only. They scrapped that and went with Moonraker because what happened that same year, 77, of course, Star Wars was released in May 25th, 77 in limited release and then wide release in early June, 77. It was a huge hit. So the producers at Eon Productions said, we've got to do Moonraker. And the book had been out since the 50s. So Moonraker, the basic story was out as a novel long before Star Wars. But that's kind of funny to me that it says James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only. It also would explain how Eric, this Olympian, a bad guy, he was like a Nazi-looking guy that the ice skater Holly, played by Lynn Holly Johnson, was infatuated with. Eric, he has superhuman strength. He picks up a motorcycle and throws it at Bond in For Your Eyes Only. And I thought, how the hell, unless they were doing a steroid joke, which I don't think they were, because steroids weren't really frowned upon yet at that point in time when that was filmed in 1980, released in 81. I think that was written for Jaws. Jaws was supposed to be the bad guy and pick, because we already saw his brute strength. He's tearing apart a van in his first appearance in The Spy Who Loved Me, doing all sorts of superhuman things, showing he was a very, very strong. So I could buy him, but not this Eric guy, just a normal guy picks up a motorcycle when he runs out of bullets and throws it James Bond's way to ill effect. So there you go. That's my little rant there. And that's what I want to say. Family show. Did I cuss again? Dang, I'm sorry. It's our family show. Look, I'm mindful of Jim Von Spiegel and people like that want a clean show. I'm way back on the comments. Greetings from South Carolina, says Danny Staten, who's going to be my co-host along with Jeff Logan this Sunday for an unboxing. We're back at it. I skipped a week with the unboxings on my YouTube channel because of Father's Day festivities. And so everybody could, have some family fun on that special day. But Danny Staten's going to be back with Jeff Logan because Jeff can only hang for about an hour. And he's a busy guy. That's his day off. He has 2 days off a week, and they're not consecutive days, so his time's precious. He was on with me in week 2 of the unboxing. Got 5 boxes left, and I can't wait to go over that with you and Jeff, Danny Staten. So that'll be Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon Pacific time. I'm going to do another unboxing. I hope it's a good one. Who knows what we may discover in that box, because I've not gone through them. All right, Jim's camera at Dawn said she had braces. They looked at each other on the spacecraft and smiled. She had braces. No, prove it, buddy. We're prove it. You've got to show. And I don't want some doctored YouTube video. I'm going back. I'm repeating myself. People are going to tune out. To the Laserdisc, to the VHS, to the original sources. There's no braces. Even the TV version. I held out hope for that difference. Prove that wrong. Were you watching? When she smiled, did you see braces in the ABC TV promo? Nope. Wasn't there. And I'm with you. It should have braces. Okay, so we put that subject to bed. That's my final word. She did not have braces. She had braces. It's called the Mandela effect. Well, whatever. Whatever. I remember it too, but it's just we're misremembering, but it is weird on a mass scale. Wow. It is a trip. I mean, I can't explain it, but how do you explain it? It's not on the laser disc. That just saying it's a Mandela effect does not satisfy my curiosity or settle the question. It's not there. It's just not. Dude, you're watching your wrestling. Don't worry about being late, Danny. We love you around here. Hi. People saying hey to each other. Hello. Hello to Curse Zero. It's only considered the Mandela effect when you perceive a single timeline. Okay. All I know is it's not in any version I found, and I did my homework for you fine folks. So Danny Staten's talking about some personal stuff. They changed my medication for high blood sugar today. The new stuff knocked me out for hours. Wow. Well, you probably needed some rest. It's your body telling you to get some sleep. Terrell always has some great facts. Terrell Eugene Bellinger on YouTube says, do you know that Family Ties stars Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter Burney shared the exact same birthday? They both turned 77 today. I did not know that. I didn't know they were the same age. That's cool. You know what blew my mind that I learned recently? That Luke Skywalker and my Superman, Christopher Reeve, were both born on the same day. Not the same age, but same day. But that's even more interesting about the Family Ties former stars, Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter Burney. Remember David Burney, her ex-husband? What a twerp he was. He was on Good Morning America, ABC. I never cared for him. I sound like Al Hardy. I never cared for that. I never cared for him. And she, of course, she changed her sexual preferences late in life. Just like Erin Gray. The rumor was Erin Gray on Buck Rogers of the 25th Century. When she was a blonde, she dug women. The next season, when her hair was darker, she dyed hair, she was back to digging men, and she was married. She's married to a guy who worked on Friends, her current husband. And man, I met her in 06. Gorgeous lady. I had dinner with her at her table, like a banquet thing at Bionicon. Lindsay Wagner was there. It was like her first convention appearance. Hey, Corey's Comedy Channel. Look who's live. Yeah! How you doing? How you doing, my man? Good to see you. Let me switch cameras so you can see my ugly mug even better. Let me get... Hello to you. You've got to subscribe to this cat. He does magic. He does super secret live streams. I'm looking at the wrong camera now. That are a hell of a lot of fun. He was on earlier today, this morning, early morning. He's in Las Vegas. So if you're on the East Coast, you better be a night owl if you want to catch him doing a secret, super secret live session. But he's he's good interaction and a clean channel. Like I try to be here. He keeps it clean. I think that's really cool. So Corey's Comedy Channel, someone please link it if you haven't already. There you go. My flock is everywhere. Sarah, you beat me to it. Thank you for being out there and linking him up. Please subscribe to Corey's Comedy Channel. Sorry, listeners. I've got to give some shout outs to my YouTube co-creators. He's on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. But so is James Install from 10 to 11 Eastern on KTRS radio and on YouTube, Geek to Me Radio. So always have them both on at the same time. I don't want to join Corey live, but James Install's show, he interviews people that are in the industry now, as well as in the past, comic book writers, not just comic book stuff. It's mostly on the quote unquote geek side, but he had I was really impressed by one of the Seinfeld actors he had on as a guest. And that's Greg Morris's son, Phil Morris. And great actor. I interviewed his former co-star, Tal Penglis, here on the Nostalgic Podblast not too long ago. He was in the Mission Impossible reboot from 1988 to 1990, shot in Australia. And I thought that was the best version of the Mission Impossible theme. I should have had that queued up. I'd play it another time. That was a great version of the Mission. Better than the movies, better than the original show. I know that's sacrilege to a lot of people. Lalo Schifrin scored the Mission Impossible classic theme. but I'm telling you that ABC version was much better. That's a much hipper and better version of the Mission Impossible theme. And it's on YouTube if you want to look it up. I'm going to try to find that now and play it. Let me do that really quickly because Jane Badler was in it after V had ended. Always had a crush on her. I'm going to play that. Yeah. So let me do something to stall because I hate to just have dead air when I try to find these things on the lam. I got to delete a video. I got to upload this. I got to find it. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Sorry, listeners, bear with me. You're going to dig this theme. I've played it. It's been a while since I played it. Never shown the video of it. Hang on. I'm going to find it. And it was in really good quality in stereo. I hope I can find. I hope it's not been removed from existence and scrubbed. All right, I think I found it. Yeah. I think I found it. Let me make sure this is the version I want to share with you guys. Let me take a breath. Make sure this is the right one. I sound like a hillbilly. And they utilized the 1960s quick cuts, of the original Mission Impossible, like this episode. I love those quick cuts. There it is. Yeah. Because Jane Badler looks so friggin' hot. And there's a shot of her cleavage. I can't help it. I'm a guy. Let me get it. It's converting right now. Best version of the Mission Impossible theme. And man, I'm sorry. We put this subject to bed. I'm staunch in my belief. Dolly never had braces in Moonraker in the theatrical version, and apparently not in the TV version either. I mean, burden of proof's on you, those that believe that she did. And just saying the Mandela effect, that means nothing to me. I understand what you're saying, but I'm a scientist. I'm just kidding. That's not scientific. Well, it could be scientific. There is time travel involved, right? Actually, all right, it's converting. Need to upload it. Listeners, I know this is bad. Wish I could tell a joke. See, that's why I wish I had Corey's brain. He's got thousands of jokes in his head he could just pull out of a hat. All right, there's the video. I've already done my doggone. This is so stale. Where does Bruce Wayne go to the toilet? In the back room. Ha, ha, ha. Hey, UFO man. All right, now I'm going to upload the best version of the Mission Impossible theme, in my opinion. And we're going to talk about Tom Kennedy. How long have we gone? 2 hours and 5 seconds. Okay. 2 hours, 3 minutes, 6 seconds. Let me delete one little thing. I'm going to delete this. Where's the beef? We've all seen that. So that'll give me, I'm loaded up on clips. I can only have 100 clips. So here comes the Mission Impossible best version of the theme. And I hope the stream doesn't go down. Classic TV lovers. This is just an incredible version of the theme. And I like the visuals too. And you see like a primitive laptop. This is 1988, 89. So old tech. But you'll see Peter Graves, one of the original actors, typing away. Maybe he lost his D key also like I did on my computer from typing too damn hard. Here it is, the Mission Impossible theme, 1989 version in stereo. Let's watch. That was tight. That was tight. I thought that was really cool. All right, so that's my favorite version. Game show people, my wonderful fellow game show people, thank you so much for being so patient tonight. Let's talk about our lost game show MC of the week. And that would be Tom Kennedy. He was the real life brother of another person we're going to talk about, Jack Nars. Now, what we're doing, in case you're not familiar with this series that I'm doing, Let me throw up a little picture for you guys and gals in the audience. There. We've been covering for months now the best deceased game show hosts of all time. I can't wait to talk about Bob Barker. And by the way, Buzzer has added the Bob Barker Price is Right to their lineup. 2 episodes a day, every day, 7 days a week, which is awesome because originally when they launched the Bob Barker era Price is Right Pluto channel, it was exclusive under contract. Even though Fremantle Media owns the Goodson-Todman Library of Game Shows, they chose to do a streaming channel initially. Well, now starting in June of 2024, Bob Barker's Price is Right is on Buzzer, which you can stream from any computer. I think it's buzzer.net or buzzer.com. Check it out. So we've covered a lot of these gentlemen that you see here. Ray Combs, Richard Dawson. I'm going to cover Bob Barker, but when he passed away, I did an extensive piece on him. So I want to separate I want more time to go by before we talk about the late great Bob Barker. We're talking about Peter, the original host of Press Your Luck, but we're talking about Tom Kennedy, who is seen there, those that are watching to the left of Peter. And below, he's above, is that your final answer? The late great Regis Philbin. But you also see in the red sports coat, that's Jack Nars. That's Tom Kennedy's brother. They looked nothing alike. And they both grew up in Kentucky. And I have some really interesting clips, I think anyway, that pertained to Tom Kennedy. But before we get started with that, I've got to remind you about Remind Magazine. There's the current edition, July 2024. It just came in the mail. Did you know you can receive this yourself for only $12 for the entire year? And the regular price is over $5 per issue, not including tax. If you were to go to Barnes & Noble or a newsstand, if you're in a major city that still has newsstands, that's what it would cost you. How about $1? There's no tax. That includes shipping. Go to remindmagazine.com and please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when you order. And heck, it makes a great gift. There's birthdays all year round. It would make an incredible birthday gift. But here's what Remind Magazine is all about. Their wheelhouse are the 1950s through the 1990s. And they have all sorts of great articles and photos and games and puzzles. Brain-teasing puzzles like Brain Bender's Banter on YouTube, Chrissy's YouTube channel. Really good stuff that keeps you engaged. And it's written on an adult level while gently tapping your inner child. And the best part is, obviously, it comes to you in the mail each and every month. Just like the good old days when we subscribed to Mad Magazine or Dynamite Magazine, Sports Illustrated, Boys Life, when we were kids, if you're a Gen Xer, right? Or comic book subscriptions. So here's how you can get this introductory offer. You can go to remindmagazine.com or call Old School. Here's the phone number, 855-773-6463. That's 855-773-6463. And a kind order specialist will process you in your gift subscription or treat yourself. $12 for the whole year. Hell, you can't even stream anything for $12 for the month. Everything's like 15 and up. Netflix keeps raising their rates. Disney Plus keeps raising their rates, although they have had some deals lately. Paramount Plus has had some deals. I love Paramount Plus. But point is, your gift recipient will think you spent a heck of a lot more than just 12 measly bucks. The next year, it's 24. That's still just $2 an issue. It goes to 24 the second year. But again, they take, I don't think I mentioned this, American Express, Discover, Visa, or MasterCard over the phone. If you don't want to go to remindmagazine.com, just give them a buzz at 855-773-6463. And again, I've said this 5 times, please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when you order. Now back to the show. Let me just find, oh yeah, I got to do my little fake rant of the week really quickly. Isn't that a cool cover, by the way? I love this month's edition. That is a nice looking cover. They have great art design at Remind. Talented people there. Let me now play something for you all. Let me play this because we have to do this.
You want to fight? I'll give you a fight.
What an a-hole. This is my fake rant of the week segment, and it's very brief. I am so sick and tired of the weekly test of the emergency broadcasting system. Look, I stream, but I still have cable. I'm still hanging on to cable because there's certain things, and there's things on my DVR box I recorded from like 2013, and I think I have stuff from 2012, 2013, rare stuff on my DVR, and I'm converting stuff to DVD, right? So I'm converting, I know the thing might break or whatever. So I have all these cable boxes in my house, and I am an Xfinity subscriber. But what really makes me mad is when they do, and I think it's with over-the-air digital too, a local affiliate will do a mandated, FCC mandated test of the emergency broadcasting system. They test it too much and it knocks out every channel. Even if you're recording something on your DVR, it knocks out every doggone channel. And I get so sick of it. I've never seen that thing in use once in my whole life. Maybe during a tornado or something. Have you ever seen, I guess they know the aliens are here. They're just waiting for the day for them to finally let us know alien beings are here and have been for years. They're among us. They're our friends. Don't worry. It's got to have something to do with that. I don't know why they have to test this damn thing. They do a monthly test, a weekly test, and it's always in the middle of a great TV show. And it knocks out every channel. I mean, that's just ease up, FCC. The weekly test, emergency broadcast system. That's my fake but real rant of the week. Time for the nostalgic toy of the week. It's this. The lunar launcher. Let me make sure I have the right camera on. I love this thing, and I lost so many of these little discs. All right, listeners, what this is, it's a little gun, and you would wind it up. Here we go. You would by hand crank it and put it on a little device, like a little toy gun, toy ray gun, as they call them, and it would launch in the air. And I lost so many of these on roofs in my grandparents' house out in St. Louis. I love this thing. Can't you just hear it clicking? Can't you hear it clicking when you turn it and you get it as tight as you can? Because the tighter you wind it up, the higher it'll fly through the air. And I love this. This is mine. I'm not going to go into history of it. The lunar launcher is just a great classic nostalgic toy. And I found this some years ago in 2009, it says, for $3.93 at Richards. I don't even know what Richards, Swingin' Richards? Richards. I don't know what that is. But Swingin' Richards is a male strip club in the Atlanta area. Not that I know. I just know of it. I ain't never been there. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Swingin' Richards. All right. Like swinging. What is Richard? What's the vernacular for Richard? Okay. Family show. What a crazy name for a club. Okay. Richards. I don't know that store. I forgot to play this at the top of the show. I had a little, I'll play it. I'll save it for next week. Never mind. I had a little intro clip I forgot to play. Let me get back on track before I lose everybody entirely. I will play some of this. This might make the stream go down. It's a real risk. This I think you'll find interesting. The theme from SWAT by Rhythm Heritage. If you listen closely, you will hear the sound effects from Pac-Man, Inky, Binky, Clyde, the ghosts, when they're in the mode, the attack mode. You're going to hear in the original theme from SWAT. Listen carefully. The Japanese copied this sound effect from that 1975 hit record song. And Pac-Man didn't hit till 1980. That's no Mandela effect. That's history. That's not been rewritten yet. But let's listen to this. And I'm just going to play when I'll stop it because I think this might make the stream go down. I played it once before. It's a real risk because I don't want to lose y'all. Listen closely for the sound effect from Pac-Man in the middle of this tune. This is a 4-minute clip, but I'm only going to play 2 minutes of it. I'll cut it short because I don't want the stream to go down. Fair use, fair use. was right there. I better cut it right there. Pushing my luck with these bots. Is this thing still on? Hello? Uh-oh. Hang on. Be right back. Oh, good. I'm in luck tonight. Thank you. Thank you, streaming gods. But you heard it. That was the Pac-Man sound effect. Am I crazy? Yes, I'm probably crazy, but I'm also right about this. So, how about that? Let me get back to Tom Kennedy. We're going to segue into game show talk. Now, who is Tom Kennedy? Let me refresh your memory and go back in time to 1974. In a little show called Name That Tune, which can't air on these game show retro channels because of music rights. And who was on that show was a lady named Kathy Lee Johnson, who you know is Kathy Lee Gifford, working with Reed for all those years in New York City. Before she married Frank Gifford, she was Kathy Lee Johnson. Let's watch this clip together. Here we go.
Well, Gina McDonough, we're going to play the Golden Medley with you in just a moment. But before we get to that, I just want to say that the last tune in our bitter note section, I said it was written by Lerner and Lowe. It was Lerner, all right, but it was not Lowe. It was written by Lerner and Burton Lane. And so, Bill Andes, we're going to bring you back at a later date and give you another chance at playing Name That Tune. That's good news for you. And incidentally, Lerner and Lowe also did not write Hello, Dolly. But Gina McDonough, back to you, young lady. What have you won so far? You've won $689, the barbecue, the range, the tea service, the clock, and the organs. And now, young lady, you get a chance to play our Golden Medley and win over $15,000 in cash and prizes. Now, if you name all 7 tunes, let me show you what you will win.
Vega, the little car that gives you economy plus new colors, new available options, and 5 models to choose from, including the convenient Vega hatchback. And to keep your car running smooth, Castrol GTX, the Motorola champion for all models and sizes of cars. Castrol celebrating its 75th anniversary year.
Now, the orchestra will play up to 7 tunes in 30 seconds, but just a word of caution, Gina. If you at any time give me an incorrect answer, the game is over. So if you hear a tune you're not quite sure of the title, just hit that big red button right there and stop the clock and say pass. For every tune you name correctly, you get a prize valued at $500. But if you name all 7 tunes, you get $15,000 in cash and prizes. Now, audience, crucial round. Please don't say any of these titles aloud. If you hear anything, Gina, remember, it may be right or it may be wrong. You don't know, so make up your own mind on each title. Good luck to you. Are you ready, Gina?
Yeah.
All right, is that a definite yes?
Yep.
All right, let's listen now and name that tune. Tune number 1. Name that tune.
76 trombones.
You're off and running, and you have $500. Only took her 1 second. That's not bad. Listen and name tune number 2. Name that tune. Oh, yes. $1,000 in prizes. Here now is tune number 3.
Come and see it evening.
Oh, you're off the stop. You already have $1,500 in prizes.
They're pulling for me.
I know they are. Everyone is, and you have 26 seconds left. Okay, listen now and name this tune. You are right again. You have $2,000. Oh, this is beautiful. Look, you only need 3 more to go all the way, and you have 24 seconds left. Listen now. Gina, name that tune. We're going to pass on that one. Okay, you still have plenty of time. We have 2 more tunes for you. Listen now and name that tune. Anyone say anything now?
And I love her.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
I didn't get the chorus.
You have now $2,500 in prizes. You have 2 tunes yet unnamed. This one, you have 1 more that you haven't heard yet. So listen and name that tune. now let's take a look at the clock. You can see it there, can't you? You have 2 seconds left. You passed on 2 tunes. We're going to go back now to the first one you passed on. Listen and name that tune. Name it. But the clock has expired. Your time is up, and you got all but one, and that last one was Avalon. But yes, indeed. New Jersey, and there's also one off the coast of California. Come on over here. You did get 6 of them. You know what that means to you? $3,000 in prizes. John Harlan, what does she want?
All boys on, listen. First of all, from Channel Master, a total entertainment center with 8-track recorder and player, AM/FM multiplex receiver, and deluxe built-in record changer with fashion-style rotary dials and push-button functions. It's the natural sound of stereo by Channel Master. Then, Gina, a Toshiba solid-state integrated circuit portable color television set. This 185-inch screen features the new Brightron tube for brighter contrast, instant picture, and volume controls. Toshiba. From the Shenandoah collection by Kirsch, built with coverless and dust ruffles of polyester and cotton. Actual replicas of the 18th and 19th century designs by Kirsch. And American Tourist for go-anywhere lightweight luggage, soft and pliable, continental styling and carrying ease. American Tourist for the casual luggage that isn't made casually. And you'll use that luggage on a trip to the Caribbean for 2. Yeah, you're going to fly to Miami, Florida, and you'll cruise for 7 days aboard the beautiful MS Starwood of Norwegian Caribbean Line, the only cruise ship visiting Haiti, Jamaica, and Nassau on a single itinerary. Have a wonderful time.
And don't lose the luggage. Now you add all of that to the $6.89, to the barbecue, the range, the key service, the clock, and the organ, and you walk out of here with cash and prizes totaling $6,559. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Traveler's check. World money for world travelers. Bank America Traveler's checks accepted like cash around the world. Some of our contestants will name that tune will receive from Big Boy Restaurants, home of the original double-deck hamburger. Get into a Big Boy and find out what a great family restaurant is all about.
So sit up, please. Name that tune.
Hi-ho.
Hi-ho is it. You just earned $20.
The amount of automobile may be changed due to availability. All airfares are based on high-jet economy Los Angeles departure. Hotel accommodation for limited to certain months and subject to availability. Due to a technical difficulty, the audience print round was recreated and the tape edited.
You do. And you do. This young lady right here, would you come down here, please? This is one of my favorites. You better get this right, because I got $50 here for you. Name that tune.
Okay, near you.
You're right, and there's a $50 bill. What's your name?
Dorothy Lemons.
From?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Happy to have you with us, Dorothy. Congratulations to you. Oh, we've neglected this group over here. Are you listening?
One of the Grand Ole Opry's most honored stars, Grandpa Jones, sings and plays his banjo just for fun. And Martha Mitchell drops by to surprise everyone. Tomorrow at 3:30 on The Mike Douglas Show.
Stand up straight now and tell me the name of that tune.
The object of my affection.
This is John Harlan. Name that tune as a Ralph Edwards.
That's a blast from the past, is it not? I have another clip from Name That Tune. Not as long as that one, and the quality's a little bit better. Look, that's all we had. That's all we have. Or like Betamax and VHS tapes. Some are multi-generational. That's all there is, folks. So a lot of people like to complain about how fuzzy a clip is. I'm sorry. Of course, I want to have the best quality clip possible. But let's talk about Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy was born as James Edward Narz, N-A-R-Z, on February 26th, 1927. He passed away on October 7th, 2020. He was known professionally as Tom Kennedy. He changed his name, and he hosted shows like Password Plus after Alan Ludden passed away, Split Second, Name That Tune, obviously, You Don't Say, on CBS, and Body Language, and The Price is Right. I'm going to play a clip of him as the host of The Price is Right nighttime syndicated version. It was a half-hour show. Only lasted 1 year, 85 to 86. I guess people just really missed Bob Barker. But Tom Kennedy was born in Louisville, Kentucky, the son of John Lawrence Narz Sr. and the younger brother of host Jack Narz. Jack lived from 1922 to 2008, by the way. Tom Kennedy attended the University of Missouri, Missouri U, same as my mom, and the University of Kentucky. Tom Kennedy did TV commercial spots for Regal Beer on Ozark Jubilee, later Jubilee USA, and which was an ABC television series which ran from 1955 to 1960. He introduced himself as Jim Nars in the commercials. He was a radio guy. You heard those pipes. He had a great voice. While attending the University of Missouri, Missouri U, Tom Kennedy worked at KFRU. I got to say that clearly and carefully. It sounds like an insult. Tom Kennedy worked at KFRU, KFRU in Columbia, Missouri. While in Lexington, Kentucky, Tom Kennedy worked at WKLX. After moving to Los Angeles, he worked for 5 years at KPOL and had a part-time job at KGIL. I already talked about the Hardcastle McCormick episode Games People Play, where he played a murderous game show host, a very tongue-in-cheek performance, and he could act. It was nice to see him act in that episode in season 3 of Hardcastle McCormick, which is on Crackle, in case you tuned in late. I know I'm repeating myself, those that have been here all along, but it was, at least last time I checked, on Crackle. But you have to enter it. Like, you won't see a thumbnail. You have to go to the search, and kind of a pain in the butt. You have to put in Hardcastle McCormick by hand manually, and then it'll pop up. It's there. At least it was. Every episode uncut. Now, Tom Kennedy's biggest hit shows were You Don't Say, which aired on NBC from 1963 to 1969, and on ABC in 1975. He also he was the MC in Split Second from 1972 to 1975, and of course, Name That Tune from 1974 to 1981, and Password Plus, which he hosted from 1980 until 1982. Following the illness and later death of the original host, Alan Ludden, due to stomach cancer. Betty White's man. Tom Kennedy's other hosting credits include The Big Game in 1958, Dr. IQ from 1958 to 1959, It's Your Bet from 1971 to 1972, Break the Bank in 1976, 50 Grand Slam in 1976, To Say the Least from 77 to 78, from 1979 to 1980, which has aired on Buzzer, and Body Language from 84 to 86, a syndicated nighttime version of The Price is Right. I already mentioned that from 85 to 86, and Wordplay from 86 to 87. Tom Kennedy briefly hosted a talk show, The Real Tom Kennedy Show, in the early 1970s, and appeared as a guest panelist on To Tell the Truth, The Hollywood Squares, Liars Club, and many other game shows. He also acted in Cannon, as well as Hardcastle and McCormick, and The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, and Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Now, Tom Kennedy retired from show business in 1989 after several game show pilots produced by his production company failed to sell to a network or in syndication. In 2003, Tom Kennedy appeared on Hollywood Squares during Game Show Week Part 2. And there's a clip of him on Wheel of Fortune when Chuck Woolery hosted, where Tom's playing for charity. It's on YouTube. I didn't pull that clip. But sadly, as I said, Tom Kennedy died on October 7th, 2020, at the age of 93. His cause of death is unknown, though it was known that he had been ill for several months. He was a big smoker. You could hear, his voice. He's a smoker's voice. So I can't speak to the fact if it was lung cancer or not, but he was really close with his brother, fellow game show host Jack Nars, who hosted shows like Now You See It and Concentration on NBC. I thought Jack Nars was a very good host. In July of 2005, Tom Kennedy and his brother Jack Nars were co-recipients of the Game Show Congress's Bill Cullen Award for Lifetime Achievement. Did you know that Bill Cullen was a brother-in-law of Jack Nars and Tom Kennedy? I think that's an interesting fact. Now, let's listen to Tom Kennedy in a brief clip talking about Name That Tune, and then I'll get to your comments. And I'll play a clip from Name That Tune. Let me find, let's watch this clip. It's only a minute, 43 seconds, folks.
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you why. I had never heard Jack say that, and I didn't think he did. We did. We were both from Kentucky, period. You know. Jack did not have a Southern accent that I heard. Of course, I wasn't exactly the one to judge, perhaps. But I had an accent. I had not only had an accent, I had it all up in the head. I whined. And there are the number of Southern accents. Some are nice, smooth, low, Georgia and Louisiana type. And then there are the hillbillies who talk like this. And now I was a hillbilly. And I talked through my nose, and I had head tones and all that. They pounded that out of me at the Don Martin School of Radio Arts. They pounded it out of me. They gave me constant tapes, things to read, and then I'd bring it in the next day, and they would critique me. And I had to learn how to use. I didn't know what a diphthong was. Like House to me was a house. They said, no, it's a house, not a house. It's a house. They said, say HORSE. I said, horse. They said, no, it's a horse. HOR. I said, oh, I see. So I had to learn how to say horse and house and a long I. Instead of time, it was time. But they had to pound it out. I mean, I still guess maybe I still have lingerings of it. I don't know. But I had a terrific nasal Southern accent.
I'm going to play a little more of Tom Kennedy from this session right now.
I came by a name that tune when I got a phone call one day, and it was Ralph Edwards. I had worked for him before, but as an announcer, and sometimes once a host on one of his shows, About Faces with Ben Alexander. And so I knew Ralph, but I didn't know him well, and he knew me, but he knew me mostly as an announcer. Wasn't that sure that I was really cut out to be an MC. But by the time Name That Tune came along, Ralph and his people had gone through, evidently, I don't know, they had gone through a number of possibilities for hosts or hostesses for that show, and finally decided to go for me. And Ralph called me. Would you like to come in and talk? I said, I'll come and talk to you about anything, anytime, anywhere. Of course, Mr. Edwards, it'd be my pleasure. I went in, and he told me about the show. Of course, I knew the show. I used to watch it with Bill Cullen and a guy whose name will big hit, singer-type guy. Anyway, it's
Bert Parks.
No, I'll think of it later. Anyway, in other words, I was a fan of the show. I knew about Name That Tune. Great show, loved it. But I was interested in knowing what Ralph was going to do with it. So he said, I'm thinking about putting this show. It was a franchise that he was bringing into his fold. Ralph Edwards, up until that point, well, mostly created his own stuff. Most of his stuff were his own creations out of his stable. But this is one that was an established show that they wanted to bring back. So what are you going to do with it? So he started describing to me, and I'll never forget it. He had one. He said, "There's one thing we're going to do. I think we're going to maybe add a little excitement to it. We're going to have people who work their way up a ladder, and then when they name the ultimate song, they come down a slide." Oh no, that's it. He said instead of running to ring a bell, they go up a ladder and come down slide down a slide and ring a bell. And I sat there and I listened to him. I said, well, that's interesting. You guys may have something there. I don't know. He said, well, what do you think about it? I said, well, I don't. He said, well, come on. What do you think about it? I said, I think it's a game show that requires two people naming tunes. I said, I can't see ringing a bell. I said, the business of running back and forth to ring a bell means you have to be ambulatory. You can't use someone who is not ambulatory. It requires someone of the same age group. What do you got them in sneakers, and they did put them in sneakers when they did it in New York. And I said, and as for the coming down the slide, I said, to me, they're all distractions from what I think is a good game show. And he says, oh, yeah, good. He said, well, thank you very much, Tom. I sure appreciate it. I said, well, you're welcome. It was a pleasure talking to you. And they obviously had a few meetings. And then he called my agent and says, we want to use Tom, but we want to talk to him about, we're going to change the format a bit from what I told him. And so let's enter into serious negotiations, which they did. And then they started talking about all the nuts and bolts. And they brought me in and did a scaled-down version. They kept a couple of little things, like they had a thing called a money tree, where a tree went around with dollars in it. They had another one where there were some magnetic things on a board, and they had, I think that was named that tune. And they had other little things in rounds, but basically it was two people standing, not with, you don't have to run, you don't have to skip, you don't have to jump. You just stand in front of a thing and you hit a buzzer when you think you know the tune. And that was basic. In other words, they brought it down to where it was, and it worked. And I said, I like it. And they said, and so we made a deal. That's it. And it ran for 7 years. They made a few changes. They got rid of the money tree. They got rid of the blackboard. I forget what they called it. And it got down to just, the only thing they did was they spun a wheel. They did spin a wheel for one of the rounds. But the wheel we knew was going to be a hit, because that's one of the biggest attractions on Price is Right, believe it or not. People love to see a spinning wheel.
Tom Kennedy. He was born on a Saturday, by the way. He passed away on a Wednesday. He was 93 years of age when he passed on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. But he was born on Saturday, February 26th, 1927 in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to play a clip from Name That Tune with a little bit better quality for my wonderful game show people and for everybody. And again, people in comments like, I love Danny Staton, but he linked a bogus video showing braces on Dolly getting back to the Moonraker thing. It's totally fake. I mean, it's so obvious it's fake. There's several fakes on there. Look, I'm looking at the laser disc, buddy. I hate to beat a dead horse, but believe what you want to believe. You got to prove otherwise, and that video is totally fake. Let me get this for you all now. Oh, nope, it's not ready. I'm going to play that Name That Tune clip, which is ready. Let me see where you are, my little friend. Here we go.
And now it's time for Kathy and me to play our home viewer telephone game. Hi, this is Tom Kennedy. Am I speaking to Mary Harkins in Chicago, Illinois?
That's right.
Mary, I understand you watch our show on WMAQ Channel 4 there in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a pleasure talking to you, ma'am.
Well, thank you.
Now, you have been called totally at random, and I'd like you to tell me something about your family. Would you please, Mary?
Well, what would you want to know?
Well, you have children?
Yes, I do.
How many? What varieties?
I have 3 children.
Uh-huh. And what does your husband do?
My husband is a retired salesman.
All righty.
He was in the appliance business.
Very good.
Retired.
I see. Well, good for him. Is he enjoying it so far?
Oh, sure.
That's good.
Fishing every day, just having a ball.
That's good. Now, listen, in just a moment, Kathy Lee Johnson will sing a tune for you, omitting the title, and then she'll sing that tune for 20 seconds. And when the 20 seconds are up, a buzzer will sound, and then she'll stop singing, and then you will have 10 seconds to name that tune. And if you do name it...
I don't know whether I can do it or not, but I'll try.
Well, sure you'll try. And Mary, if you do name it, you're going to receive a brand new automobile valued at over $5,000.
I can hardly believe this. This is my first time to have a call like this.
Well, then your turn has finally come up.
Oh, it has.
All right. Here is Kathy Lee Johnson, Mary.
Hi, Mrs. Harkins. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, now we're just going to sing a song for you, and I know you're going to get it, so listen real close.
All right,
All righty.
All right. Mrs. Mary Harkins of Chicago, Illinois, for a brand new automobile worth over $5,000. Listen and name that tune.
There she is, la, 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 la. Oh, there she is, your ideal. The dreams of a million girls who are more than pretty may come true in Atlantic City.
All right, Mrs. Mrs. Harkins, you have 10 seconds. What is your answer?
Oh, I know that tune. That's Miss America.
You have just won yourself a brand new car.
Oh, how
That's
wonderful.
it. Congratulations to you, a brand new Datsun.
Hold on, wait a minute. Don't hang up now.
Oh, I won't.
Congratulations. Now, do you know that the MC is Tom Kennedy?
Yes.
Yes. And would you like to tell us who you are?
Would Mary Harkins?
No, tell me your real name.
Adonars.
It's Tom's mother.
Oh, Lord, Addo.
Addo, sure.
Well, I'll be damned. Isn't that weird? I didn't recognize your voice.
Well, I tried to talk as much as I could, thinking that maybe you would.
Oh, have you been drinking again?
No, yeah, I hit the bottle just a few minutes ago.
How do you like that? This is wild. Is Dad there?
Well, no, I tell you, Linda's car went as dead as a doornail today.
Oh.
And we had to call AAA, and AAA came and started it, and the battery was down.
Yeah.
So the two of them are over at the fish store getting some fish for our dinner. And I was supposed to get back before I got off the phone, but they're still over at the fish house.
And you mean after all the fishing that Dad does, you have to go out and buy the damn thing?
Oh, well, we've been out bumming all day. We didn't feel like cooking.
I see. Well, I'll be darned. Well, listen, it's a pleasure talking to you,
Am
man.
I going to get the new car? Huh?
How you feeling, all right?
Yeah, I'm just hobbling around. I'm doing fine.
Well, listen, everybody here at KTTV and the Ralph Edwards organization sends you their love.
Well, thank you. And I'm ashamed of you that you don't recognize your mother's voice.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Boy, this is really fun. Good talking to you. I can't get over it. Who wouldn't recognize
I'm so
you?
sorry that Linda and Dad are not here to enjoy it, too.
Oh, yeah.
They will really get a kick when I tell them about it.
I hope. Listen, are they taping this?
Yes.
Oh! Listen, the next time you come out, they just told me that they're taping this, and so we'll play it for you on the tape recorder.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Dad will love to hear it.
Well, hurry out here.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to say goodbye to you.
Well, listen,
bye,
you're taking
Addo.
off on vacation, so have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye. Is that something? Thank you, Ray.
That was Dick Gottlieb's idea.
Oh, Dick, thank you. I can't get over that.
You were beautiful, Tom.
You know what? I noticed one thing. While I was holding the phone up here, I looked over the monitor, you got my puss.
Ended rather abruptly. That was a fun little clip, I think. So another show that he hosted was Password Plus. Here's a 1-minute clip from the very last episode of Password Plus, which aired in March of 1982. And here is Tom Kennedy's sign-off as host of Password Plus.
Well, I'm very happy that everyone is leaving the winner. We have to leave you for a while. As I said a little while back, incidentally, earlier in the week, I said this thing is going to... Look at the whole podium is coming apart, so I guess the show is going off the air just in time. This is the last in our series of Password Plus. And even though our dear friend Alan Ludden isn't with us at this particular moment, as you well know, he hosted this show as only he could do for something like 18 years. And so I was very proud to have the last year and a half here at the helm. All I can say is, you know, the show's going to be back soon. So until then, on behalf of all of the people with Goodson Todman, who have the best staff in the entire world, NBC, the best network, I don't care what anybody says, we got a crew around here that just simply cannot be beat. There are too many people to bring up on stage. I'd love to do it, but I wouldn't know all the names anyway. I'm so bad. It's just awful. It has been absolutely terrific. So what we want to say to you, though, is thank you for being the great friends you have been through all 20 years. It'll be back soon, and we'll all look forward to seeing you again real soon. On behalf of all of us, bye for now, and be good to yourselves.
Of course, he was right. The show did return in just over 2 years in 1984, but with a different host, Bert Convey. And I have a clip of Nichelle Nichols playing the game with Tom Kennedy. Let me just play a little bit of this. It's from my other YouTube channel. I recorded this myself. Oh, big whoop.
It's Password. It's Super Password. Our special guest this week from Star Trek, Nichelle Nichols. And from Wordplay, Tom Kennedy. And the star of Super Password, Bert Convey.
Hello. Thank you. Hi there. Come sit down, dear. Sit down, Thomas. There you are. Karen. Hi, thank you very much. Thank you all. I thank you kindly and welcome to Super Password. As always, it's wonderful to have you with us. And as you can see, we have two very nice, bright new faces with us today. Have you ever been on it before, Michelle?
Brand new.
Brand new, a rookie.
But I play it every day at home.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're a pro, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely perfect and wonderful.
At home, I'm great.
That's the way it is, of course. It feels strange to me because on Password Plus, I used to sit where Tom is sitting now, and you were standing here.
Yeah, right.
And you did it so well, and now here we are reversed, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. The wheel turns slowly.
Yes, yes. The wheel does turn slowly, and we have so much to talk about. First of all, I guess we'll talk about the great success of Star Trek IV, which is enormous, and what a great film.
And I'm so excited for it.
I wonder, though, you never had any idea when you started this that this would all happen over all these years?
Nobody did. I mean, there was no way to even imagine the enormity of the whole thing.
Can I show you my impression of Star Trek?
Yes.
Yeah, well, Star Trek is this. Yeah.
Red and blue lights.
It's called Wormhole Effect, Captain. Wormhole Effect.
Wormhole Effect, Captain. Wormhole Effect. I've always wondered, you know, everybody in that show is so brilliant. The people who've created that show are so brilliant. The direction is, the writing is wonderful. No one thought of a seat belt?
We got kidded about that. They built seats would have seat belts that supposedly would clamp on.
Right.
They were so cumbersome.
They didn't work.
That we could never. They were always popping open in front. So we would just sort of go like this, you know,
and then
we'd ease them away.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad we settled that because I've always wondered that question. Now we must talk about Tom's new show because I've seen it and it's delightful. I laughed. I had a wonderful time. Wordplay, which is going to be a
Wordplay. I agree. Star Trek IV is my favorite of the original movies. Definitely agree with you, my flock. And Jim's camera at Dawn says Star Trek with a thumb up. Thumbs way up. Cool. That was 1987, early 87. That would have been taped probably in late 86. Nichelle Nichols, and Star Trek IV was just tearing it up at the box office at that point in time. James Doohan played her on that time too, on that show Super Password. By the way, I told you how The Price is Right is now on Buzzer twice a day, every day. I think it'll be a while before my beloved Tattletales returns, which is a shame. They were starting 1977. There's one that's not aired since 77 with Deborah Winger, all young, funny, and pretty. She's a wild one. And she was on there around the time she was on Wonder Woman, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, as Drusilla, her younger sister from Paradise Island. And I've been dying. They're getting close to airing that episode. They actually aired the week before it for a marathon. I'm like, oh God, I just had the biggest crush on her when she was younger. That was the thing that introduced her, was Wonder Woman. There was a special credit introducing Deborah Winger as Drusilla. And that was a kind of a thing of the past that they brought back in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special on Disney Plus, introducing Kevin Bacon. You know, I thought that was kind of clever. But Jessica Lange had an introducing credit in King Kong 76, introducing Jessica Lange. In Live and Let Die, the first Roger Moore movie, you had introducing Jane Seymour as Solitaire. I just love that introducing credit. You don't see that much anymore. Back to the game shows and some comments. Let's see. They didn't need seatbelts on the Enterprise. They had inertia dampers. Okay, cool. Well, they did in Star Trek Motion Picture, like to Nichelle Nichols' point, they did have seatbelts that were implemented. Now let's get back to Tom Kennedy. We're going to start to wrap the show. I'm trying to keep this under 3 hours. We've gone 2 hours, 51 minutes, and 33 seconds. And let me now play a clip of Tom Kennedy with the late, great Bob Barker talking about a new show he was going to be on CBS, which also, of course, aired and still airs The Price is Right to this day. This is 1 minute and 50 seconds long. Let's watch.
Other contestant.
All right, Bob. Tom Kennedy, come on down.
Kennedy, one of your favorite hosts. Tom, you can't be a contestant. No,
I can't?
No, you don't understand. I can't have my friends as contestants. Come up here
came
now.
all the way from the-
Come up here. Come all the way from Toluca Lake. I know. Yes, I'm fine, Tom. And it's such a pleasure to have. Aren't you a great? Thank you. Yeah. And they're good players. Well, Rockney, but they're good players. But what are you doing here today?
I am very happy to tell you that starting this Monday, I'm going to be on the same network with Bob Barker.
Great!
With a show called Body Language.
A show called
Body Language.
Sounds
Listen to this. It's a terrific show.
Good.
We have 2 celebrities.
Yes.
And then we have 2 Earthlings,
Yes.
and they have 2 teams.
Yes.
And what they do is they use body language to convey words to each other, and it's wild.
Oh.
Then they use the words to solve a puzzle, and it's great fun. And not only that, but it's so simple. It's as simple as blank check. I mean, it's that
they know exactly
right
what
here
you
on
mean.
CBS.
And it'll start Monday?
Monday.
Well, I will be watching it. They will be watching it. These folks at home will be watching it. And I
That's
wish
good.
you luck with it.
Thank you, Robert.
You bet.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
So long, Tom. All right, now. I'm supposed to say who's our next contestant, which I did. So you got me, Tom.
Yeah.
He can't play. Now I'm going to go on. What's the next item up for bid? No, you have to do it again.
Got to do it
All right,
again.
who's our
You
next
say it.
contestant?
Say it.
It went down. I pushed my luck too far. Hopefully it'll come back on. So that was a really fun clip showing 2 legends. He's so right in chat. The great Corey's Comedy Channel, Corey. Oh, he said, oops. Before that, he said these guys were good. Yes, they were the best MCs of all time. Very good. Yeah, I know. I'm getting texts. It happened. Hopefully it'll... Jim's camera at Don says, soon as Chance sends an emergency payment to the power company, he will return. Yeah, I know. Sarah's texting me. You're down on YouTube. I know. I should have known because that was exclusive to the channel, the Pluto TV, Bob Barker's Price is Right era channel, and they're very protective, Fremantle Media, of that property. So hopefully we'll come back on. We'll see. Now, I do have another clip I want to play. Let's see. Where is it? I want to play a little bit of body language. This hopefully will be okay. I won't play that much of it. But before that, I want to play a clip of Tom Kennedy hosting The Price is Right. Nighttime version that I talked about earlier from 1985 to 1986. So I have the clip on the ready. I just want to make sure that the stream comes back up. I have a monitor in another room where I can hear it. Let's see if it comes back. It should return. Hopefully soon before I lose everybody. I know I'm still live on Facebook, and for the audio platforms, this is very awkward. I just want to let it return to YouTube. Let me check one thing, folks. Be right back. I don't know if it's going to come back or not. Hopefully it will, but I got to keep rolling along. So let's see what else I had prepared, and I'll get back to some clips of Tom Kennedy. Let's see here. Tom Kennedy, he was a radio guy, just like Bob Barker. That's why they were so good. Really good stuff. And next week, we'll go ahead and talk about Jack Nars, his brother. I wanted to have both of them on at the same time, their shows. I wanted to feature both of them in the same show, but in the interest of time, I realized that wasn't such a good idea. All right, we're back. We are back. Sorry about that, YouTubers. I was stalling with my other platforms, and yeah, I should have known better. I said in your absence, I was saying that Fremantle Media is very protective, and I should have known better of The Price is Right. However, I got that from another fan channel, so I thought if it's okay for them, it should be okay for me. Now, obviously, that wasn't the case, but at least I'm back. So I am going to play a clip of Tom Kennedy hosting the Nighttime Price is Right from 85 to 86. I'm pretty sure this will be smooth as silk, and I'll have no problems playing this. Knock on wood. But now probably the search and destroy bots are like on me like a fly on poop. Next clip be like, they're going to swarm on me and shut me down on YouTube. Hope not. I'm going to think happy thoughts. I'm going to pray to the higher power and to the Lord above that this clip is okay, because it's not Bob Barker's Price is Right. It's Tom Kennedy's Price is Right, 1985. Let's watch a 4-minute clip. Bot willing. Right now.
Floyd, come on, step right over here. Face out that way. I want to find out something about you because you're about to have a great experience here. Where are you from, Floyd?
Oswego, New York.
Oswego, New York.
Great.
What brings you out here?
We're on vacation for 3 weeks.
You working? You retired? What?
I'm still working.
Good for you. We have great things in store for you, Floyd. We are going to invite you to take a trip down our Golden Road, and it will all start with this handy-dandy little item here, which happens to be Chongqing chow mein noodles. And starting with that item, that can help you win this.
An electric range. A Gibson electric range, a self-cleaning oven, black glass oven door, digital clock, minute timer, smokeless broiler pan and grill, furnished by Gibson.
And Floyd, if you win that, then you go tripping right down the Golden Road, where you can also win this.
A pinball machine. The Space Shuttle pinball machine features innovative verbal commands during gameplay and out-of-this-world action excitement from Williams.
Now, Floyd, are you impressed so far?
Yes, I am.
Are you really? Because if you win the Space Shuttle, then you see those little golden pebbles, they take you right down the Golden Road to this.
A new Ferrari! Woo! This beautiful Ferrari 308 comes with standard options such as power windows, electric mirrors, air conditioning, 5-speed transmission, 8-cylinder 3-liter engine, power door locks, and California emission. Tom?
Now, Floyd, I don't know if you could hear everything that Johnny told you about that car, but do you realize that that car is worth over $60,000?
Woo!
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Should have told you that up front. That car is worth over $60,000. Shall we try the Golden Road, Floyd? We're going to start right here. Now, our Chongqing sells for 62 cents. You see there? Now, that can help you win our next item. So we'll take the 62 cents, we'll rock right down the Golden Road over to the Gibson range. Stay right with me. Over here, Floyd, pardon me. Floyd. Here we have a price of blank 3.9. Now, that blank is going to be filled in with either a 6 or a 2 to give us the price of that ring. So, is it the 639 or 239?
639.
He says 6. Is he right? You're right. That's how you play. Now, we take this $639 and we go right down the Golden Road over here to our space shuttle. And we first of all show you the price as it is revealed so far, $2.95. Now, that blank is going to be filled in with either a 6, a 3, or a 9. What do you think? 3. He says a 3. 2.395. Is it a 3? It is. I want to see if you were paying attention. Turn around here. I want to see if you were paying attention. How much is that car worth back there at least?
$60,000.
That's right. It's over $60,000. Now, let me take this because we may need this, huh? Let's go over. Floyd, here we go. Over $60,000. There it is. 60,000 blank 70. What number goes in the blank? Is it a 2, a 3, a 9, or a 5? Pick the right number, and you have a Ferrari. And all of the 5. He says a 5. And he says it affirmatively. He's going to go with that. He says $6,570. If that's a 5, you got it? Oh, I am sorry. It was a 3. But you still have the space shuttle, you have the range, and we thank you very much. A good time. You betcha. More of The Price is Right after this.
I remember at the time thinking, I miss Bob Barker. I think I wasn't alone. That's why it only lasted one season, the nighttime half-hour Price is Right hosted by Tom Kennedy. But you saw he made a little boo-boo at the end. He said 6,000 instead of 60,000. I love playing along. That Golden Road always has a huge grand prize. Like it'll be a Class A motorhome, a Porsche, like in the current Price is Right, something really huge because it's hard to win that game. Another game, Temptation, that one's hard because greed really sets in. They give you automatically 4 prizes and you have to get each number exactly right if you go for the car or you lose everything. The smart thing to do would be just to take all the prizes and the heck with the car. So now I want to play a clip of Body Language. I kind of did this out of order. Corey's playing along. I love it. Please link Corey's channel. Sarah, if you're still there, I'm sure you are. You're always so good to me. Link him up, please. Somebody, moderator. I'm now going to play a little bit of Body Language. Not much, because I really think this is iffy in terms of the search and destroy bots that are after me. And you notice he had gray hair. He eventually dyed his hair brown as Body Language went along. And their teen weeks were a lot of fun when they had teen contestants and stuff. That was fun to watch because you had child actors like one of the actors from the Goonies and hit movies at the time around 85, 86, the celebrity, quote unquote, child players of Body Language. All that was charades, basically. Hey, you are too. Corey, you're kind. Corey says, you're too kind. Thank you, Chance. You're welcome, man. You are such a nice person, very giving. And yeah, let's give back. Give back to Corey. Someone link him up and subscribe to his channel. What's in it for you is a lot of laughs and a lot of magic. I know you did earlier, but let's freshen it up because I might be way back. If you don't mind, dear, appreciate it. I think you just dropped it. Okay. Jim got it. Oh, and Keebler linked Jim's camera at dawn, which is nice. Keebler, will you please link Corey for me, dear? Somebody. UFO, I wrenched you up during this thing, so you have the power to do that. I would much appreciate it. Here is how Body Language sounded. Now, the theme, obviously Michael Jackson was big at the time. The main theme sounds like a Michael Jackson song, like, won't be starting something, got to be starting something. It's that beat. Got to be starting something. Listen.
For the uninhibited, and our stars for this special all-teenage week are from the movie National Lampoon's European Vacation, Dana Hill. And from Different Strokes, Todd Bridges. Watch their bodies do the talking on Body Language. And here's the star of Body Language, Tom Kennedy.
Hello there. Welcome, America, to Body Language. We're having great fun this week because it is Teen Week once again. Some of America's favorite leading teeners are here to play our game, and 2 of America's favorite stars. One of them, if you saw Cross Creek, you saw this lady, and if you saw Shoot the Moon, you saw Dana Hill, right over there. And not only those 2, but if you go to the movies this July, I think it is, you're going to see
National Lampoon's European Vacation. And it's a sequel to the film Vacation. It stars Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo and a young man named Jason Lively, who plays my brother.
Uh-huh.
We go to Europe. It's great fun.
That's good. Fun. Did you actually go to Europe, Dana?
Yes, we went to Paris, Rome, London, northern Italy. It was fantastic. I had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm so sorry to hear that, Dana, but somebody's got to do it, I guess.
But now I'm in Hollywood doing Body Language, and I'm equally as happy. So.
Well, good for you. Yes. Thank you for saying that. Yes. She'll go far in this business, I'll tell you that. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is Tammy Cohn.
Hi.
Hello, Tammy. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Tammy, what year are you in? What year of school are you in?
Oh, 9th grade.
You thought I was asking how old you were. I know how old you are. I don't, but I'm going to take a guess.
Okay.
14.
Perfect.
Did I hit it?
Yeah.
All right. So you're in 9th grade. What are your favorite subjects, Tammy?
In school? Let's see.
Forget about school. Tell me about your other favorite subject.
I love to dance. Ballet, jazz, tap.
Uh-huh. Any special guy in your life right now, Tammy?
Well...
You're not going to tell us. Okay. Welcome aboard, Tammy. Good luck to you. Here is Todd Bridges, and he's from Different Strokes. Willis Jackson is here.
All right, well, going in, I think you said it was 7th season.
No, 8th season.
8th season, sorry
Or 9th,
about
one
that.
of them. You get it confused.
How is Gary Coleman? Doing all right?
He's doing great.
That's good. That's good. So when do you go into production for the coming?
I thought it was something funny. I think any day now.
Any day?
Yeah.
I see. All right. What was funny?
Nothing. Never mind. It's past.
Oh, I see. All right. Here's Guy Finley. Welcome to our show, Guy.
Sorry, Guy. I got to cut that clip because I'm worried about that one. If you ask me, Todd Bridges was on something. He's the only surviving original main cast member of Different Strokes. Who would have thought? Because he was so fraught with, unfortunately, drug abuse. I think he even smoked crack and stuff. Terrible. But he's still with us, and that's a good thing. Poor Dana Plato passed away from prescription drug addiction. Very sad stuff there. Mixed with vodka. That's what they found in her system. Anyway, not to be morbid. And, of course, Gary Coleman's gone, who worked as a security guard when the acting roles dried up. His parents stole money from him. He was in Oh, Heavenly Kid. I love that movie, Heavenly Kid. By the way, that Dana Hill, she sadly passed in 1996 due to complications from diabetes. She was a friend of the Fall Guy. She was in 3 episodes playing 3 different characters. She was in the final episode that was ever filmed in production order of the Fall Guy, playing a punk rocker, but she played Cassie, a stunt woman who had diabetes. Like there's a scene, they're in Palm Springs, California, and she's shooting up her medication, and some onlooker thinks she's doing drugs, and she's like, "No, you idiot, it's my medicine." And there's a big pool fight in a swimming pool that ensues because of that. And that episode's going to air on Heroes and Icons pretty soon because it's a season 2 episode. And she was in season 1 playing a little girl looking out for her dad. Her dad was played by Buck Taylor, who a lot of you may know from Gunsmoke, and I know him from the original Outer Limits in a key episode called Don't Open Till Doomsday. He played a groom. And there's a monster in a box, and if you look in the box, you get sucked into the area where this monster was. And I could show you my book. They said in the book it was supposed to be a phallic. It's a combination. I'm not being creepy or weird, but it's seriously, the monster looks like a combination of the male and female organs. We'll leave it at that and be classy. Let me get that picture of the monster from my. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do it in a minute. I won't slow the show. But it's a hideous looking monster. It's inside this box in Don't Open Till Doomsday, 1964 episode of the Outer Limits, and Buck Taylor was in that, as I said. But Dana Hill was an awesome actor, I thought. Now, I prefer Dana Barron, the original Audrey from National Lampoon's Vacation. And hey, the reason they kept recasting the kids, it was an ongoing joke. It's all Michael Anthony Hall's fault. He opted to do Weird Science for the same producer director, John Hughes, as Vacation, the Vacation movies, the original. And, he said, I want to do Weird Science. I guess he took a look at Kelly LeBrock and The Lady in Red, which had been filmed just before Weird Science went into production, was like, no, I'm doing that movie. So they had to recast. So I guess the story is they recast the girl too, even though Dana Barron was available. She was collateral damage to Michael Anthony Hall, not signing on to do European Vacation. So that's the story about that right there. So let me play another clip from Body Language. This guy's Ed Nelson. He's been in a lot of movies. I met him at the Western Film Fair 2005. When you see him, you'll know who he is. He was in a Bionic Woman episode, season 2, and I brought it on film at the Western Film Fair. Also, I brought episodes of Wonder Woman. Henry Darrow was there. He's a Western actor from The High Chaparral, Henry Darrow. And he told me, I was sitting right next to him, I brought my film print of a Wonder Woman he did with Roy Rogers from season 1, the World War II era, called The Bushwhackers is the name of that episode. And he says to me, I don't even remember filming that, but then again, I drank a lot in those days. And I'm like, how could you not remember working with Linda Carter in her heyday or prime? What? He didn't. And, but he was watching for the first time. Basically, he was playing a bad guy. They were stealing cattle from Roy Rogers' character during the rationing of World War II. And they were selling on the black market the beef. Where's the beef? And he played, one of the inside men, a dirty cop, dirty police officer, played by Henry Darrow. So I have a poster, and Richard Anderson was there, Oscar Goldman, the $6 Million Man, and he showed up at the end of the Bionic Woman episode titled Assault on the Princess, princess meaning the cruise ship princess, not assault like Princess Leia, let's get her. No, there was a cruise ship, And it was in the Princess line right when Love Boat was starting, just before Love Boat began, because it was the 76, 77 season. Love Boat began in the beginning of 77, 78 season after a few TV movies and 2 pilots. And they recast. And for the longest time, speaking of Love Boat, the original cast was still alive until Merrill Steubing himself, Gavin MacLeod, passed away and broke that streak of survivors. That was sad when he passed away. Great, a great act. I liked him on Mary Tyler Moore Show too. So here's Ed Nelson, and he was so nice. He watched the entire Bionic Woman with me, and he says, thanks for bringing that. And there's a poster they made, had them both sign it, had Richard Anderson sign it. It's here somewhere. I mean, it's actually, I know where it is. It's hanging right there on the wall, but there's a bunch of videotapes off camera blocking it. So I want to show you a picture of it. It's a cool poster that the Western Film Fair, Charlotte, North Carolina, put together way back in 2005. And I had a banquet at his table, Ed Nelson. He's deceased. He was so kind, so nice, and very talented guy. He did Fugitive episodes back in the day. He was in a key Fugitive called The Girl from Little Egypt, which was the 3rd produced episode, but ABC held on to it until Christmas Eve, 1963. It's the origin story, shows Kimball's trial, his escape. The first episode of Fugitive didn't cover that. The narrator, William Conrad, talked about it, how he's on the lam, but you didn't see it. And so they actually filmed it 3rd in the production. 2nd, the actual regular hourly episode shot, but ABC held on to it in the can and made people wait weeks, months to see the true origin of Dr. Richard Kimball's plight. And Ed Nelson was in that episode. He played a married man going after a stewardess who runs over Richard Kimball. She's the girl from Little Egypt. Such a great episode. Let me play this clip.
Get a ticket. Oh, it's a menu. No, it's the program. Sit down. Good idea. Good effort. Very good efforts you gave there. And you did beautifully, Mr. Nelson. You got 4 words, and here they are now. This is a $250 puzzle. 2, 3, and... Now, they usually have stewardesses, but no propellers. And blank Joe Namath used to blank the signals for the blank ones. Ed? Time is up, and that means that Vicky's in the game. Which
I know
blank?
this.
Well, take the
I don't
blank.
care.
Take the blank first.
3.
All right. And
Jets.
Broadway. Who? What?
The Jets.
Is it the Jets? You're right. They usually have stewardesses with no propellers, and Broadway Joe Namath used to call the signals for the New York ones. Now, Broadway is what she was trying to give you. She was trying to, with the Statue of Liberty, she was establishing New York, and then she was going into the theater on Broadway. Vicky, you got $250. So, Ed, you sit down. Vicky, you stay right. Isn't that right?
Well, it's your show, don't you know?
I do get confused.
Well,
You
we
sit
supposed to
down.
know.
I don't know. What do we have in
Well,
next?
for
You stay
God's
here.
sake, I
You
don't
stay
know.
right here.
I'm so
And you,
embarrassed.
Marshall, come right down here. Wait a minute. Hold it. Who did that?
Who did what?
Well, who got the $250?
We did.
Then they're next. Okay. That means that you sit down and Ed comes
No,
over.
but they already did theirs. We already did ours. Oh, for God's sake. Isn't
Would
this
you folks
embarrassing?
at home like to write in and tell me what's going to go happen next? And then we'll...
The game is over.
I see. The game is over. Oh, she got
Sorry, girl. Sorry, Dean.
Congratulations, Vicky. You just won the game. That is just terrific. I tell you what. Let's come over here. When we come back, she and Marcia are going to have a chance at $10,000 right after this.
There you go. And I took a picture of that poster. I'm going to pull it up for you. Here's a little interesting tidbit about body language. At least I think it's interesting. Am I down again? I can't tell. I can't tell anymore. Keebler, no sugarcoating truth, says, what do you get? What do you get when you got heat, a van, and a mosquito? An ate-up Keebler. Hang on, let me check something. Oh, shucks. Well, I'm going to take the time to pull up that picture. I know. And YouTube went down, and we're still live. I'm so sorry. I pushed my luck, and I have only one more clip to play, so we're almost out of time. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to discuss, but let me now quickly go to my email. I have to load this photo. I want to show you that poster with Ed Nelson. It's right here. Let's see here. Can you hear me typing? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Verizon, free plug. Verizon. All right, let me see here. Let me go. It's hot as blazes in here in my home studio. I turned the air off so that there's no sound. I try to have good sound. I know, Sarah. She's texting me. You're down. I know. I realize that. I can tell. Let me now turn on my Wi-Fi and send this to myself, and then we'll look at some comments, and we'll start to wind the show. I want to get this poster going. Let's see here. Let me go to... This is so boring. I dare not play a clip. I normally would play a clip right now while this is going on. Let me just do one little thing. Oh, there we go. I'm going to upload. I want you to see this picture they both signed. Richard Anderson back in 2005. And Richard Anderson, he would mispronounce words like me, like I do on this show all the time. Like in the final Fugitive episode, The Judgment Part 2, I've told this before. He says to Lieutenant Gerard's character, played by Barry Morse, who also was in Space 1999, is Professor Bergman. He says, when he's captured Dr. Richard Kimball and takes him to his sister's house, "What are you, some kind of a sadist, Gerard?" The word is sadist, sir. And I loved Richard Anderson. He was so nice when I met him at the Western Film Fair. I saw him at the bar. I got there the day before to get to my hotel, and he was just sitting by himself at the bar having a sandwich or something. And I said, "Richard Anderson, nice to meet you. Big fan." And he had this thing he'd like to say, and he said it to me. He goes, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in advertising sales." And he goes, "Some men sell insurance. I have to sell myself." And I thought, wow, that's really deep, Richard Anderson. That really was deep. All right, so I think, the photo. I want to show you the photo that he signed. Let me refresh. I'm back on YouTube. Thank you. I know, I'm back. Thank you, Sarah. She's my right hand gal Friday. It is Friday, too, as we're live. Let me, okay, I finally got it. I'm downloading it. This is very awkward as we're live. Okay, bam. I want to show you that poster. Let me just go to my StreamYard. Let me go to my pictures and let me find the shot I just took of that poster. It wasn't entirely covered up by videotapes as I thought it was. What the hell? Oh, no, I go to, oh, good grief. Where is it? I just took that picture. Oh, I bet I put it in the wrong file. Oh, I can't waste time like this. Oh, dude. Gosh darn it. Hang on, folks. Dang. This is where I just pull my hair out. Okay, I'm gonna. All right, there's that. Oh, dear. I thought I downloaded it. I did. Well, why aren't you showing up, my little friend? Let me try to get this clip. Is it really worth it? Watch it be like, you stop the show for that. You know what I can do? Oh, I found it. Here it is. It's loading. Am I maxed out on my photos? What's going on here? Nope. It's going. Here's the poster, folks, ladies and gentlemen, as we start to wind down the show. This is the poster from the Western Film Fair, covered by a huge stack of videotapes. But see that? Richard Anderson signed it on the left, and he had a unique signature. He would date everything he signed, which I'm glad. He signed a lot of stuff for me in 2005 and 2006. That was the first time I met him. Then there's Ed Nelson, the late, great Ed Nelson. They're both gone, unfortunately. There's Ed Nelson's picture on the right, and that was my film print I bought, which I still have. For that reason, it's very sentimental. That was a really fun, unique event that I attended. It was my first and only film convention, and it was all Western stuff, and I snuck in a little Bionic Woman just because Ed Nelson was there. So there you go. There's the poster, and it still hangs in my home studio room. And on the TV, you can read it better, but it says the Bionic Woman TV show, Assault on a Princess. No, it's Assault on the Princess, meaning a princess cruise liner. And they were after a guy named the Iceman. And they didn't know he was working on the ship or he was a passenger. And the OSI had to capture this guy because he was selling explosives and things on the side to make some money. And then all they knew was he goes by the Iceman. Spoiler alert, it was the bartender. And they go, oh, the Iceman, because he's pouring ice into a drink. The Iceman, not to be confused with Iceman and Top Gun. That was years later. This was 1976. I'm going to show some images. I found this nice schematic. Arlen had posted this. This guy, Arlen, he's some sort of author. I love this shot of the Batmobile, the schematics. Isn't that cool? Now, on Sarah, My Flock is Everywhere's channel, we've been talking about lost media. I totally misunderstood her idea of the concept of lost media. She meant, I'll just leave that up because it looks really cool. She meant lost media like lost episodes, lost movies, things that are destroyed by fires or whatever, like the Great Universal Fire of 2008 and whatnot. That's what I thought she meant, lost media, like lost items, which is a great idea that James Von Spiegel thought of. He said in a comment on Facebook to me and to everybody, this will be a great topic. Now, I did it once before with Al and Tom, long time ago in the first year of the Podblast. This is year 5 we're in now. But that is an excellent topic. So that's what I thought I did. And here's a lost item, the stereoscope. That goes back to 1829. Let me confirm that. I'm going by memory. I know it was the 1800s, and you would put the little card in stereo in each eye. It would have a 3D effect. Let me look up the stereoscope because this is an educational program. Want to have my facts correct. Stereoscope. Yes, it was invented. I'm sorry if those that watch Sarah's channel, this would be a bit of a rerun for you, but we didn't really cover this that thoroughly. Okay, it was patented in 1939, but it was invented. The stereoscope is a device for viewing stereoscopic pair of images, depicting left eye and right eye views of the same scene as a single 3-dimensional image. Your brain fills in the gaps, making it stereo. Isn't that neat? I think that's very neat. So, and it was sort of like the prototype or the precursor to something I'm going to talk about in a minute. The Viewmaster, 1832, not 1820. I'm glad I looked it up so I have my facts correct. The earliest stereoscopes, both with reflecting mirrors and refracting prisms, were invented by Sir Charles Wheatstone and were constructed for him by an optician, R. Murray, in 1832. There you go. Now let's talk. And I talked in detail about the Viewmaster. And I have one on Electra Woman and Dynagirl in my collection, but there's a Viewmaster. Sarah, there was a Space 1999 Viewmaster set. Can you guess in the chat? You know what? Let me bring you up. I think you've waited long enough. I'm just going to put the link in the chat, and then I'll take it off when you come up. I don't have time to text it to you and all that jazz. So Sarah, get ready. Get set. Here's the link. I know there's a delay. The link is in chat. Come on up, Sarah. Let's dish. I hate that expression. Let's dish. So National Enquirer, isn't it? It's so Star Magazine. Let's dish. Are you decent? Come on up. Dust off your thumbnail. I know there's a delay. Come on. And Danny Staten, by the way, will be here Sunday for another comic book unboxing, along with Jeff Logan, my good pal I've known since 1983 when we were kids. We met in middle school, Dickerson Middle School in Marietta, Georgia. And Danny says, hey, I have an original 40s Viewmaster with the reels, the metal one. Yeah, that's the nicer one. That's pretty cool. I don't have that. I just have the actual, I don't have the Viewmaster machine. I just have a set, Electra Woman and Dynagirl. But I guess Sarah is busy, so I'll leave that link up. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, here is My Flock is Everywhere from Southern California. Here's Sarah.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can. You sound really good.
Perfect. I was in the process of doing a bunch of things, and then suddenly I heard my name being called, and I was like, oh, I'm being summoned. I have to go now. And here I am.
So sweet. Thank you. I don't mean to bark at you like you're a dog or something, but thank you for coming running.
Oh,
listen,
no.
I want to ask you something about the Viewmaster you see there on the screen.
Yes.
Can you guess you may already know this if you've been paying attention to social media. What is the episode of Space 1999 that a Viewmaster set was based upon?
I don't know. I don't.
I'll give you a hint.
And also, I
It's
don't know
a-
anything about Viewmaster, so I never had one.
It's right, and you're 42, so you're younger than a lot of
But
people in the chat.
they had them when I was a kid. They were red, and they were from Fisher Price.
I'll give you a hint. It's a first season episode, year 1.
Okay.
So there, that's it. That gives you 24 episodes to guess from.
All right.
I watched it last night on film, and I sent you video of it on 16mm film.
Yes, you did.
Do you know the episode title? It's the same. Hey, I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
It's the same name of a movie years later, unrelated, featuring this guy that says, or this thing that says, "Shall we play a game?"
Is it the
What's the name of that movie? Do you know the name of that movie? You know the movie I'm talking about. Ali Sheedy, Matthew Broderick. Great movie from 1983.
I never saw that movie either, but I think it was War Games.
That's it. That's the episode of the same name of Space 1999 that the
Yeah.
only Viewmaster set was based upon. It's a great special effects laden episode. I watched it last night on film. It just blew me away.
Yeah.
By the way, let's talk about Tuesday night. We're going to do part 2 of Lost Media on your channel. My Flock is Everywhere. What
Yes,
time are we
because-
going to start? 8:30? 5:30 your time, 8:30 mine. Is that it?
5:30 again. Hopefully Tug will be there because he said he was like really sick, and
Oh, no.
hopefully he'll be well by then. Otherwise, he should be there. Hopefully Dan will be there. He never answered me if he was free on Tuesday, so he'll probably let me know as I'm going live.
Very good. Well, this is a rerun for you because I've showed these images on your channel that I co-host with you on. My Flock is
yes.
Everywhere. But let me just go through some of these. The Transistor Radio, Jim's
right,
camera,
but-
Don.
Right, but
What?
if you remember, I had technical issues, so I was barely at my own show. So please continue.
Oh yeah, that's right. You couldn't see. Right, you were on the phone. Good point. And it did slip my mind. Yeah, she had to call into her own show that I was on with Tug, the unapologetic geek. Please link him in the chat. If he's not feeling well, let's do him a favor and link him up. I would do it whether he was well or sick, but I think someone should link his channel. That's a
grab him.
Transistor Radio. Jim's camera at Dawn brought up a good point about it. That was the device that caused the invention of the 9-volt battery. It fit into the Transistor Radio. I did not know that. I thought that was a great fact that Jim's camera at Dawn mentioned on your show last Tuesday when we were on, or 2 weeks ago, or almost 2 weeks.
Yep. You're
Now
right.
let's keep going. Did you know that this is the craziest thing? In around 1960, they actually had vinyl in cars. There were vinyl record players in cars. Obviously, it didn't work very well. It skipped and records were damaged and scratched, so it didn't last long. But
You know
who the
something,
heck
Aaron?
thought that would be a good idea?
I don't know, but there's a book I read in high school in English. I forget which book it was now, but it was about I think it was a black family or something. But in their car, they had a record player, and that was the first time I ever heard of it. I think I was like a junior. So there you go. I thought that was interesting.
Excellent.
I didn't think that was a great idea, but I thought it was cool nonetheless, But I can imagine how
Indeed.
terrible that would be on
Indeed.
your records.
Danny Staten brings up a very interesting fact that I did not realize. In England, the War Games episode of Space 1999 had an alternate title, The Power of Fear, which I think is a better title. And those Viewmaster reels based on The Power of Fear with the different title are very rare. I'm going to look for those to add to my collection. That's cool. And thank you for the link, Sarah. You're right on it. Tug, the Unapologetic Geek, is his YouTube channel. He has some great content. He reviews episodes of Twilight Zone and the like. Now let's continue with some other images of lost media or antiquated things in the media that play media. There is the reel-to-reel player, non-compressed audio. Music sounded incredible
Yes.
when you
my
played
dad-
it back this way.
My dad had one of those, and he taught me how to play with it, in the way of how to use it. Right.
Right.
Back in the days when we lived in Long Beach, and I don't know whatever happened to the thing. He still has some real tapes that he had from back in the day, but the player itself was gone. But I remember playing with that with him, and it was really fun.
Excellent. And Jim's camera at Dawn adds that Elvis had a record player in his Cadillac, but it only worked while sitting still. Indeed. Very cool.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, even the CDs themselves seem to only work when you're sitting still, and even then, it's no guarantee.
And
I
of
still
course,
use tapes today.
cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I do too, on occasion. And speaking of cassettes, the forerunner to the cassette tape was, of course, the 8-track tape. So there's some nostalgia for you, listeners and viewers. Viewers can see some record albums like Live at Leeds, The Who, sitting on a 8-track cartridge player, and it's a cartridge recorder. And you had the needle for the levels. It wasn't digitized yet, obviously. Very cool. That's the CR-81D model 8-track cassette.
That's
in
cool.
stereo.
We had a dual tape deck that looked similar to that, and I would record Star Trek on there and other mixtapes from the radio.
Excellent. I like that you recorded radio as I did with a cassette player. Danny Staten says, my grandmother had the 8-track in the car. Very cool. You know what I should have pulled was a picture of a CB, Citizen Band Radio. Damn, I'll do it next week or another time. That would be a good antiquated form of communication and media. And they'd warn each other about Smokey Bears out there on the road issuing speeding tickets. Pretty cool. And they had their own frequency.
Did you want
Their
to
own
take your link?
secret band.
Yes. Did you want to take your link out of the chat?
Link? Are you talking to me?
Link. Yes, you, the streamer link. Did you want to take out the chat? Yes, I'm talking to you. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. So the troll can come on up. Yeah, go ahead and delete it.
Me? Okay.
Or I'll do it. No, I'll do
yeah.
it. I'll do it.
I don't even know if I can delete your own stuff. Nope. I can only report you or block you.
No, you can block me. Well, that's crazy. Okay, hang on a second.
Right? I can go to your channel. I can report you or
I'm
I can block
deleting
you.
it. I'm not that anal retentive. Like our good friend Al Hardy, he's a control freak. And I'm not trying to be that bad. He really is a control freak, muting mics all the time, pressing buttons all the time. And you can't have this many clips in a show. And that's why I had to do my own show and get my own equipment, which I did. Corey's Comedy Channel says, I must be getting old. I remember this stuff. BK, Barry King, BK in the air says, my first copy of Star Wars 1977 soundtrack was on an 8-track. Wow.
Hi, BK. How you doing? Good to see you.
Absolutely. I love his show. 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific is when it begins for West Coasters like Sarah on WBHF. And they have an app. You can hear it from anywhere. It's good stuff.
BK's got excellent everything. Okay. I didn't talk to the guy personally. There you go. Well, I mean, texting DM wise, although I'm amazed he could read more stuff, but he did. There you go.
Star Wars is an awesome soundtrack. Inspired. There's so many inspirations that John Williams drew upon, like the Planet's Mars Bringer of War Suite by Gustav Holst in the beginning and the end of the film. The strong drums that you heard, the bass drums. Bum 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 bum. Very rousing. And at the end, when Luke's blowing up the Death Star, the soundtrack had those drums come back. You're all clear. You're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home.
Something like that, right?
Commence primary ignition. Commence primary ignition. We're going to fire up the Death Star to blow up the moon of Yavin that the rebels are on. Okay, I'm getting carried away. It's the coffee.
That's amazing. Good job.
Dun, 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 dun. Wait. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Amazing.
And then Darth Vader. He does like a Cellini move in Dragon's Domain, Space 1999, balancing the Darth Vader craft, using everything he could to stabilize the ship as it spun off out of control into outer space. Successfully, we see. And it was neat. You could see Dave Prowse's eyes in those shots. You could see his eyes like beneath the sunglasses in his helmet. They corrected that in later films, but it was pretty transparent, especially on the big screen. So that, what? when Han Solo returned to save the day and he blew up that TIE fighter next to him. What? That James Earl Jones. I just love that. He looks up. Oh, man.
Right.
I could watch that another 100 times. Another antiquated thing. This isn't in terms of media, but it was the beeper. I had a beeper when I worked at Crystal Springs in sales. Right when cell phones were getting popular around 1998, they used a beeper system. We went out in teams on a van loaded with water coolers, just soliciting businesses and strip plazas or office parks. And so, exactly, you see the message, anyone who's watching, I pick you up at 9, pick you up at 9. That's what the team leader did of our sales team. And I was the top salesperson. I broke records. I sold 101 units. I got the merchandise mart downtown Atlanta, which was a huge score. I switched them from Culligan to Crystal Springs. They had nasty old coolers with algae. And I was showing the decision makers, do you want brand new coolers or do you want to keep drinking algae? The choice is yours.
Now, a chance. If I could find it after I move and stuff, assuming I still have it, which I think I still do, I think I still have my pager. Now, I had a pager.
I do.
In my early years of high school, and it was AirTouch Cellular. Then they got bought out by Verizon. But then my first cell phone was when I was in high school. When I was a senior, I got a StarTech, which was like the top of the line at the time.
Very cool. I had Motorola. Yeah, Motorola, and I still have it somewhere. BK there added the moon-based computer controls from UFO. Is what they called it. UFO is what I call it, which is the forerunner of Space 1999. I'm going to introduce you to, Miss Sarah. He said the moon-based computer controls from UFO wound up on the Muppet Show. Pigs in space. All from England. Very good. That was ITC, Independent Television Corporation. The spinning logo that I play, look, I'll play it right now, was before the Muppet Show and Space 1999 and other shows at the time. And I always got a little disappointed when it was the Muppet Show. I liked the Muppet Show, but I always wanted to see Space 1999. And when you saw that, unless you checked your local listings, your TV guide, eventually I memorized the time slot. But see, the problem was WXIA and 11 Alive Atlanta, NBC affiliate, they would jumble it around because it was syndicated. So they didn't really have, initially they did have a dedicated time slot, but they started like showing it whenever. And so it was hard to keep up. And so when I saw this, I knew either the Muppet Show or Space 1999 was fixin', as they say in the South, to air.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's like, a lot of the logos of the past, like on Channel 13, right? Where a lot of Paramount, and it was like you get tricked to what you were going to watch next. It was supposed to be Star Trek, was never Star Trek. I swear.
Corey's got a split. He says, "Great show, Chance. I've got to get to the grocery store before it closes. I'd like to say thank you and good night to all the cool people. Stay awesome and keep kicking up that stardust." Thank you, Corey. Great guy.
Later, Corey.
Clean channel. Good old clean comedy and magic. And he does corporate magician performances in the Las Vegas area. Very cool. Kind of like what Jim Gossett does. He does corporate comedy as well, but everyone's saying hi to each other. So super sweet. That's great. You crack me up. I love it.
Yeah.
We love you back, brother.
Right.
Stay awesome, as you say. I didn't mean to shout in anyone's ear there. That was loud. Stay awesome, my friend.
I'm already deaf. It's fine.
He made another comment when I wanted to play my final clip. Yeah, you awesome. No, you awesome. I got to get all Sopranos on you. You the man. I'm just here for the ride. All right, so
okay.
I want to play this. This might cause the stream to go down, but Neil Norman been talking about him, and I talked about Moonraker. And Danny Staten, I love you. There were no braces on Dolly, and we're going back to the Laserdisc, the VHS. I have the proof on my side.
You didn't read the rest of his comments about it, did you?
He was citing fake videos on YouTube, and that's okay.
They're up on his own channel. He just said they make great videos.
I love him. All right, so,
he's teasing you.
Well, it's working. He's punking me. He's poking the bear. I'm going to play the Neil Norman version of Moonraker. It's very upbeat, and I like it, and I think this will be okay, hopefully. If it goes down, I'll probably be in a lot of trouble. Let's just say a prayer. Let's enjoy. Neil Norman's Moonraker. I love that upbeat. Now, my favorite version of the Moonraker theme, let's play Chance's record collection. I want to show you guys some album covers
Nice.
right here. So this is a rare. Let me take the comment off. That's funny though. Danny Staten says, and Looney Tunes was spelled Looneytons in the universe I come from, wherever that is. All right, so I got this at the old Lakewood Flea Market. Now it's Screen Gem Studios, but it used to be downtown. Now it's in Cumming, Georgia. Call it the Georgia 400 Antique Market. That's inside baseball for Georgians only. Nobody cares. But I found this years ago downtown, and this has the best version of Moonraker. I'm going to convert it maybe next week and share it with you because I'm sure, I don't think it's even on YouTube, this album. I need to research that, but this album is fantastic. BK, if you're still there, you would love every orchestration on this. And it was, at the time, all the way through to the current movie, which was Octa, you know what? I don't like to say that word, family show.
Well, I was going to ask you, will you be putting any of these songs up on Fistful too?
Good point. Yeah, well, if I can get the conversion to sound good, yeah, then I will. And on my retro music cuts. Look at this, though. Star Trek blooper album that I got from Oxford 2 books back in the 80s. It's great. It's awesome. It's from I guess there's no video of these. It's the really funny bloopers from season 3 of the original Star Trek. It's hysterical.
I love bloopers.
Shatner, don't you like a little spit? and Frank Gorshin kept screwing up his line too. You know, who was the Riddler and Adam West. He was in, he had half white, half black face, Lou Antonia, and Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. And that was the season after Batman was canceled. But he was funny on that record. Some of his outtakes. All right, look at Turtles records and tapes. Look at their sticker, $10.49. Wow. Corey, get that food, brother. I'm about to sign off anyway. Before, like, they finally released the original versions of the Star Trek soundtrack, but these were reorchestrations I loved because I love the music from The Enemy Within, 5th produced episode where Kirk's split into 2 halves by the transporter malfunction. Saul Kaplan. This was a great album. I watched this. I listened to this, rather watch this. I watched and listened to this show to death in the 80s and 90s and beyond. But it's nice little design, nice pictures. I love that creature in the center from Spectre of the Gun, the first produced episode in season 3 of Star Trek. I'm sure Brandon's checked out. Brandon in Canada can't stand classic Star Trek. He literally throws a fit.
All right.
When I talk about it. So here's just some more of the reorchestrations, Mirror Mirror, in that from Crescendo Records. And then here's Star Trek, the motion picture vinyl. I like that shot on the back. That's when they had seatbelts installed in the Enterprise.
Comes yeah, that was so. Anyways, the slow motion picture. Yeah, the slow motion picture, my favorite.
Star Trek sound effects. I love this. I was doing a podcast like in 1990 using this just on cassette tape. I need to find those tapes, and I would use sound effects. I have an album of sound effects of a laugh track, and I would have a laugh track to my own jokes. It sounded pretty good. I got to find those tapes. It was funny. A laugh track. I did a little stand-up monologue, and I would insert a laugh track. You're my living laugh track now.
Right?
The price tag on that, $10. $10.
Nice.
Really northern. $10. Look at the back. I love the pictures. Look at Kirk Byron. Van der Veer special effects did that laser shot. It was a thicker effect. I didn't necessarily like the way Van der Veer did the laser effect, but
look, Spock's brain.
I'm such a geek. There's Spock's brain. There's the teacher on Dr. Bones McCoy, but I loved. I can identify that shot. That's from Operation Annihilate. That was almost the very last episode of Star Trek. The show was about to be canceled, and it got a second chance in year 2. And the same between 2 and 3. The letters from the fans convinced the network to keep it alive a little bit longer. But
I wish they had done that with Space 1999. I would love to see the 3rd season of that for sure.
Look at that cool close-up of the communicator, which you've rarely saw in the original Star Trek, except for the Omega Glory. There was a cool shot of it in that episode, season 2. It was actually, that was a script from the second pilot attempt when the NBC executives rejected the cage. There were 3 scripts Gene Roddenberry wrote: Mud's Women, The Omega Glory, and Where No Man's Gone Before. And they went with Where No Man's Gone Before, which was the first Shatner Trek production ever as Captain James Kirk.
Corey's back in chat again because he can't go to bed.
He's telling jokes. I better read them. Corey's Comedy Channel says, I was at the grocery store the other day and a guy threw a block of cheese at me. And I thought, how dare he? How dare he? How dare he?
Who is that?
How dare he? How dare he?
That's great. That's great.
Hey, Danny Staten says to Corey, hey, Corey, I'm getting stronger, man. I can now lift $100 worth of groceries with one hand.
Okay. Hashtag starving.
I guess we finished with the tech. We can resume that topic another time. I need almost 4 hours. See, I don't want to do it. I really want to keep this 3 hours and I blew it. So make sure I got all the, and of course the 16 millimeter projector. There's an Ike that's similar to one of my models. I have several of these. That's a really good projector.
That's what they had when I was in kindergarten at Dominguez Elementary. We had those.
Yeah, it's a manual load, super slimline slot load, because they have automatic loaders, which I don't prefer. It can tear up film, sprocket holes and whatnot.
Right.
That looks like one of my main ones I'm currently using that I bought from actually from Tom Williams, and I have another one as a spare. My main one I bought from the Big Reel magazine a long time ago, and that's a reel-to-reel projector. No, you the hilarious one, sir. And I already showed that poster. Okay, that was the poster they signed. Okay, so we've done that. I think we've gone through most of the photos. Before I sign off, reminder, Sunday, and thank you, Sarah, for doing this thumbnail, revising it. Jeff Logan and Danny Staten will be with me Sunday at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern time for another unboxing. And then week 9, it'll be Open by Chance. Power Couple in the YouTube world. They have an awesome channel. They're going to a convention this Sunday. And they will make you feel like you were at the convention. I'm not going to say what convention it is. You got to subscribe to Open by Chance. Will someone link them, please? One of my mods. I would really appreciate it. Now, clip-wise, so that's the next couple weeks on Sunday. It's going to be going on right here on this channel, The Nostalgic Podblast. And I guess I could do birthday. I'll save that. I'll be listening to BK. BK will cover the birthdays. I'm not going to do the birthday thing. It's kind of a sad clip. When Bob Barker announced the death of Johnny Olson, I'm also going to talk about game show announcers. We're going to actually cover them when we get through covering the late, great MCs of game show history. And certainly one of the best was Johnny Olson. Very sad. He passed away from complications of a stroke in 1985. And here was a 22-second disclaimer they put in every episode that he had already produced that didn't air yet when he passed away. Let's watch this.
Since taping this program, we've lost our good friend, Johnny Olson. You will continue to see and hear Johnny on the many programs he's already taped. He was dearly loved by all of us, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, he was the best. I think he's my favorite announcer. I like Gene Wood too, but I definitely, I think he was a little bit better, Johnny Olson there. Now I did have one other clip from Body Language, the contestant plug, which means this is it's just like it sounds weird, but they would say, if you're going to be in Southern California area, call this number, it was to get people to audition to be contestants. Now, this is the alternate theme to Body Language that they scored just for the contestant plug, where they would fish for contestants or for studio audience members. If you're going to be here and you want to watch the taping, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Body Language. But note the music. This is from 1984 by Score Productions. It was recycled as Classic Concentration, hosted by Alex Trebek in July 1987, when that game show, which is also Mark Goodson production, so they had access to this music from Score Productions. But let's watch this 31-second clip.
If you would love to come out here and raise a little racket and make a lot of money, we're here to serve you, because you can be on this show whether you're a teenager or an adult. Isn't that right, Johnny Olson?
That's right. You have a strained voice, Tom. If you are a teenager or an adult and live in the Southern California area, or if you plan to visit here and would like to be a contestant on Body Language, just call area code 213-464-4300 for an appointment. Here again is Tom Kennedy.
And away we go.
Little Jackie Gleason reference, and away we go. That was a Jackie Gleason thing, of course, from Mr. Saturday Night, the Jackie Gleason Show.
That was
Golden
funny,
Age of television.
I like that.
All right. Now, before we say goodnight, I'm going to prove one more time in this ABC promo, in case BK's still there. He probably didn't see this, and anyone else who tuned in late. Network ABC promo. Note Dolly's teeth, no braces. This is from the 80s. This isn't rigged. This isn't a fake. Watch this. Wait for it. I rest my case after you see this.
The hijacking of a space shuttle sends 007 into fast-paced action. Roger Moore.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Reaching new heights.
Any higher, Mr. Bond, my ears will pop.
Rendezvous in orbit. 1 week from tonight. Moonraker.
No braces. Did you see braces? Be honest, Sarah. Did you see? Nope.
Back in the day, yes, I did. But also, I saw it in the 90s on TV, not the 80s, because I was a kid. But I did. There was a scene where they do that, and I don't know where it happened to it, but I saw it.
Please stop talking. No offense. Stop talking. All right. We're going to say goodnight. I'm just make sure I've got my clips. Remember, they get you when you sleep. Get that guy a Tic Tac. No, that was one of my favorite scenes, and the woman is Veronica Cartwright from Alien. She did Alien, filmed that the same year that was released in 78, released 79, Alien, and that's Angela Cartwright's older sister, and she, of course, was in the first season or two. I think the first season of Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man. Daniel Boone. All right, Sarah, any final thoughts?
See everybody Tuesday. We'll talk again about not obsolete media, but whatever. Sure, why not? We'll talk about that too.
And I'll be back here Sunday and Friday night as well, and on BBB's Brain Benders Banter channel on the Roundtable of Nostalgia, Saturday night at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Anybody who wants to join in? I have no life. Friday night, I'm just streaming away. I should be out on a date, but I'm just streaming like a useless dork. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. It's nice to see Esmeralda's return. I'm glad that her move is hopefully completed. And I wish everyone... Go ahead, dear.
I said it's complete dish, and I also say hi to Cooking again.
Hey, Cooking says you rule, Chance and Sarah. Sarah and Chance. Thank you. Jim's Cameron Dunn says we have some good chemistry, and I agree.
Oh.
So keep watching that Space 1999 on Shout Studios, and we'll see you next week on the Nostalgic Podblast. Good night.